All right, everybody, we are live here at the live well at Fish, North Georgia this Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, we already started. Guys, listen, I'm sorry. I took a big drink of Pepsi right before we went live, and I had to exhaust some air. How about that? Is that a polite way of saying that?
Is it like that stupid Sprite TikTok that's been going around?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you got to watch it.
Sprite TikTok?
Yeah, they guzzle Sprite and then belch. And
okay, so yeah.
Some of them purge. They go a little
I just purged. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us tonight. All you guys that are in the comment section already, we appreciate you guys being here. And we'll address you guys in a moment. Let's go ahead and take care of business real quick so we can get on to talking. Want to thank our buddies over at Sonar Pros, the official sonar installer of the live well, 770-530-4505. Trent and the guys off Highway 369. If you want your electronics to be perfect and you want it installed just like the pros, give Sonar Pros a call again, 770-530-4505. And then we got our buddy Kevin. I almost called him. You know what I almost did? I almost said Kevin Lipsticker.
Might as well be.
I might as well. So Kevin Underwood with Lipsticker Fishing, 678-459-8419. Kevin at lipstickerfishing.com, and check out his Patreon, patreon.com/lipstickerfishing to see exactly what he's doing on the water. One of his biggest fans is running our board tonight when it comes to that stuff. See what he's doing on the water live. You can't hide nothing when it's live, can you there, Alex?
Nope.
So check him out right there. And, of course, then we got the best rod sleeve on the market, the Evolve rod sleeve with Evolve Fishing. Check them out at evolvefishing.com or come up here to Fish North Georgia. We've got them. They are the best, bar none. Hey, yeah, you can buy some of them knockoffs. I'm telling you, don't waste your money. Get the best, and that's Evolve Fishing. And, of course, if you're hanging up lures like I do all the time, and I do it, you want the Money Saver Lure Retriever, the absolute best plug knocker on the market. Richard Key up there in Tennessee makes them. I love it. I'm telling you, you'll love it. We got them here at Fish North Georgia. Little bitty tiny torpedoes flying through the water right there. Guaranteed to get your bait back. Tim said if it doesn't work, he'll pay you. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll pay you all the attention you need.
That's right. And then, listen, if you're on Lake Allatoona, we got our buddy Bill Payne with Bill Payne's Guide Service, 706-280-2305. Guys, I don't know if you're on Facebook, but if you're not, you should be. Yesterday, he and his client, their best five would have gone, what, 25, right at
25 and change.
25 and change right there. So if you're on Lake Allatoona, you definitely want to book with him. Seasonal smallmouth trips, and, of course, he also will do sonar trips. So Fish with a Legend, Bill Payne's Guide Service. And then we got our buddy Brooks Anderson Fishing. I always say it, one of my favorite guys in the fishing industry. Check him out at brooksandersonfishing.com. Follow his YouTube. Guys, if you're on Lake Lanier and you want to know spotted bass, that's what he specializes in. Where they're at, why they're there, how to catch them. Brooks Anderson Fishing. Check him out right there. Yeah, let's go ahead and do our buddies Fishers of Hope right here at the beginning. Guys, I talked to Tony and his wife the other day. They came up here. And I absolutely love it. Every time they come to the shop, they're doing what we all should be doing. They're helping people in need by throwing bass tournaments. All right, you can check them out at fishersofhopeministry@gmail.com. See how you can join, their crusade, I guess is the way you want to put it, and help out people in need. Follow them on Facebook. I believe they've got a fishing tournament coming up for a young lady, but check them out right there. Great people, and you definitely want to be involved with them. And then behind us, we got our buddies at Turner Tire in Jasper, Georgia, 706-253-3339. Tires in alignment. It's where I go get my tires. And I'm telling you, I'm in and out. It's quick. And they do a great, great job. So we appreciate all of those. And we'll get to our Serve IT question of the night tonight. And want to go ahead one more time while I got all of you watching. If you know guides, especially, but all of you are invited. Thursday night, Cherry Street Brewing. I believe it's at the Halcyon, I guess. So now they can't just put up a shop. They build these little mini communities around that. But Fishing Industry Night right there. We're going to have some screening going on for a Real American Road Trip. And it's an open bar provided by Digital Sportsman. And Eric from Digital Sportsman will be there. And this is why we want as many guides coming. I'm telling you, they got this program, this app, that's going to be awesome. And the best thing about it, like their Essentials plan, it doesn't cost anything for the guide. If you charge $400, you get $400. But what it's going to do, it's going to help you with your bookings, your scheduling. It's a lot of automated, smarter things than I am capable of explaining. But I've seen the app, and it's absolutely incredible. And I'm just I'm very proud to be associated with that company. So we want all you guys to come out, and it's from 5:30 to 8:30. And it's going to be a networking thing. But you don't have to be a guide to come out and just hang with us and just and you don't have to stay for the whole time. Just come on in, say, hey, I'll be signing autographs from 6:30 to 7 for, small donation. I'm just kidding right there. We might get Tim there to sign some autographs and all that. But anyway, appreciate all you guys in the comment section joining us tonight. I see all you guys. And again, I love every time that you guys join us. So what we're going to talk about tonight, a couple things. We're going to talk about the spawn. All right, the spawn. We've been talking pre-spawn, and, the first couple of people are starting to report seeing a few fish on the bed, but it's going to be here before you know it. So we're going to talk about fishing techniques during the spawn. It's also Bassmaster Classic week, and Rebel 64 was surprised that Spro was a Georgia company. I'm telling you what, and a dang fine one.
Yes, sir.
Dang fine one right there. But we're going to talk about the Classic, kind of get you guys – get y'all's opinions on who you think is going to win and how it's going to shape up. And while I'm at it, I told Alex I was going to do this. The reason I said the OG live well on our social media post, Bassmaster, I'm going to have to call you out a little bit. You guys over at Bass, I love you. We support you. But you got a new YouTube program, and guess what the name of it is? Any guesses? Any guess? Yeah, the live well. Let me tell you something. This is the live well, okay? Just because you got Tommy Sanders and Kevin Van Dam on it, that don't mean nothing.
Hashtag the real live well.
We are hashtag the OG live well. So change your name right now. No, but anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting when I saw that last night. We know you guys over in Alabama listen to us. And I know some of you guys over at Bass headquarters listen to us because I've talked to some of them over there before. So I feel kind of flattered that y'all thought it well enough of us to steal our name. What do you think about that? Huh? What do you think about Alex? Should I just sue him into affinity?
Yeah.
No, yeah. This is the OG, Brian Justice says. It is. Listen.
Isn't it imitation is the best form of flattery or something?
Okay, so who's Kevin Van Dam on this?
I don't know.
It ain't me.
Right. Me neither.
Dave, you?
No. Nope.
I'm better looking than Tommy
no takers.
Sanders. I am better looking than Tommy. Ain't that's his name, right? Tommy Sanders?
Yeah.
How long, honestly, has he been on that show? Good Lord, forever and a day, right?
He's been on there a long, long time.
Yeah, I just thought, we saw that last night. And so Bass, listen, we love you, but get your own name for your shows. Quit stealing ours. But anyway, we'll talk about the Bassmaster Classic and all things pertaining to that. Coleman Jones caught a whole mess of red-eyed bass on West Point this weekend.
I bet that was fun.
I bet so, absolutely. And Far Dog's up there now. I believe Far Dog hit me up in the comment section again, but his son and his partner, they won the JUCO National Championship last year. And eventually we're going to get them on the show when the schedules work out. But also they won a tournament.
Yeah.
Wherever they were at, was it Murray?
Maybe.
They won another tournament. So guys know how to fish. We like our Oklahoma friends right there. So anyway, we'll go ahead and let's get the Bassmaster Classic stuff out of the way, since I probably pissed somebody off at Bass already because they're a name stealer. But can I be any more blunt than that?
No, I think that was very, very.
I mean, you would think somebody at Bass could come up with a better name than the live well.
Right.
All right, Bassmaster Classic. You guys in the comment section, I want you to put it out there as well. Who's your favorite going in? Now, it's in Texas this year.
Uh-huh.
What lake was it?
Ray Roberts.
Ray Roberts. All right, so Guy B says a cease and desist letter. Either that or I'm going to make a nasty TikTok.
Yeah.
So, I'm just going to make a nasty TikTok and just scare the bejeebers out of them.
That's the way the world's problems are solved nowadays.
TikTok?
You just put it on TikTok and everybody knows it.
Well, that's kind of the way I figure. I thought that. Bass promoting whole buzzards from within right there, Tony Cobb. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. I like Bass. And I don't have any problems with them other than I don't like the name of the news show. But anyway, we're just giving them a hard time. But all right, so knowing that, in the comment section, who you guys got as the favorite? Aaron Parker says Will Davis Jr. is on a roll. Can't go wrong with that. What about you, Dave? Who you got?
I don't know. I think it's going to be one of them young kids. A McKinney.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a scoper.
So it's going to be a scoping thing.
Maybe one of the Johnsons. Lee Livesey's tough in Texas.
Yeah, he was on my top 5.
Yeah.
He was on my top 5.
That would be my top 4.
Jordan Lee. You can't go wrong with Jordan on any lake.
Always a competitor.
Always a competitor. All right, Alex, from the kayak world,
Oh God.
Come on, I threw it at you because I know you really don't give two shits, do you?
Not really.
Yeah,
I mean, I watch it and pay attention a little bit, but
Who you got?
well, who's is Robert G fishing in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I'll
that's
take
a
G.
classic.
It's classic. He's
I
in
don't
the
know if he
elite.
qualified or not. You just like Robert because he's been on the show, don't you?
I liked him before the show. Yeah.
All right, so
I'll
Milliken.
go with Lee Livesey like everybody else.
Yeah,
is.
so let's see. Yeah, we got a couple. Get ready to scope. Milliken could be a sneaky pick to win. How would that be if he goes back to Texas, wins the Classic after all the crap he's going through?
It'd be hilarious.
According to Cerebral Tackle, he's got a court date in August and all that today. So Lee Livesey, I think that would be a good pick. What about you, Tim? Who you got?
I was going to go with Livesey.
Am I saying it right?
Lee Livesey.
Is it Livesey or Livesey? Hell, I can't pronounce his name. Can't count.
I think they pronounce it Livesey.
How's it pronounced?
I always heard of Livesey.
Livesey. Livesey, whatever. If you could pick one angler that you would want to win. Okay, this is like not who you think's going to win, but if just one angler. Huh? Hackney would be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Hackney would be a good one. What about you, Tim?
I don't even know. I mean,
Drew Cook. He'd be good.
I'd like Drew to win. That'd be daggum Bush Peach for days if he won that Classic.
yeah, if one of the homies won, that would be better, wouldn't it?
Rob is in it. G is in it.
G is in it. There
we
go.
Steve Titsworth, a buddy from Tennessee, said he's in it. Hamner, back to back. That's a good one. Now, Drew said, I don't think scope will be that big of a factor out there. And then Atlanta Outdoor said, I'd love to see Scott Martin win after the controversy. Now, you know what would be a controversy if they actually had to DQ somebody at the Classic.
At that one.
Has that ever happened?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swindle when he ran by Randy Howell.
That's right. Yeah.
And that was funny because Adam W. Fishing just put, I would like Gerald to win one. But I watched the video. And it's been a long time since I remember it happening, but somebody posted it the other day of him just blowing through and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's worse things to get DQ'd for.
Yeah.
If he shuts down up there, he tears the whole motor off that boat.
He does.
It ain't but about 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah.
And they waved him on.
Yeah.
But
so that's one of them, I'm not an expert at rule making or rule abiding and all that, but still, that's kind of like some of the things we've seen lately. Wind is going to be blowing around 30 every day, so scope might not win. It might make it tough.
We'll make it tough if it's doing that.
So then you think a power guy might come in, though, with the wind and all that, maybe beating the banks?
Yeah, somebody can get out of that wind.
I'm curious, when do bass go on bed in Texas? Is it like Florida? Like, is it very early?
It just is the same way. It depends on the weather. But this time of year, we'll be in about the 18th, 19th of March. We used to take the last week of March, 1st of April. You could pretty much bet you could find some on bed.
So if it's possible, a sight guy. Who's the best sight guy in all this?
Drew.
Cook. And that's why he might be good to go.
Yeah, but here's the deal. If it's blowing 30, that hurts them. It muddies the water. Trying to sight fish in waves, and if they can't, because I mean, you think about it, you got to find 15 big ones that nobody else finds.
Right.
And once they find one on the bed, everybody goes looking.
Yeah.
So it makes it tough.
So Brad Silver says John Cox is the one I'd like to see with a W. That's a good choice. Now, just from a show standpoint, because he's been on, I always root for Drew Cook. First of all, he's just a nice guy.
Joey Cifuentes.
Cifuentes?
Yep. I like him.
You like him because he wears the cowboy hat and flip-flops?
I like the cowboy hat.
What about the flip-flops? What about the open-toed angler right there?
I like open-toed
angler.
Open-toed angler. He had jeans on and flip-flops, which, hey, listen, that's a fashion statement that if you can pull off, you can pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which brings us to a question we've got about fashion statements and things like this before we get talking about the spawn. While I got a decent crowd here tonight, we've got a question because it was a big topic of the pre-show. How many of you guys out there own Jeeps? Now, you own a Jeep, but you weren't here for this conversation.
A Jeep. It's not a Jeep.
Well,
but it's not the Jeep.
It's not a Jeep.
No.
But you weren't here for this conversation. Could somebody please explain to us what in the hell the ducks are all about? Does anybody out there understand why Jeepers have ducks everywhere?
I think they give them to each other. Like randomly, if you see one in a parking lot, you leave it on their car.
But what does it stand for?
Homosexuality.
Well,
All right, Alex.
Okay,
That was
listen,
me.
listen. The opinions of Alex Furs are not the express opinions
of
of
the Fish North
Fish
Georgia.
North Georgia or the original Live Well podcast. However,
OG.
the OG Live Well. But still, if you guys in the comment section really could, because I told the guys when we were talking about before, I was like, listen, if anybody knows, there'll be somebody in our comment section that will know. As
At
long
least
as
a
the
reasonable explanation, because it makes no sense.
David Weaver says, as long as the Jeep says Chevrolet, I'm good. Tim
Yeah.
Wyatt, he ain't lying. Hey, listen, and if that's what you want to do, that's hey, you go for it right there. I just want to know what the ducks are for.
Don't they just leave them on random vehicles when
Yeah.
they find a duck?
I've seen
And
them
then
in
you have to
parking
put it on
lots,
your
and there's like
dash.
a little duck sitting on the parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
Wu-Tang Fan 864. Oh, Rebel 64 says swingers. That's another question we got.
That would
right
be a
after this.
pineapple.
Yeah, Jeep owners place rubber ducks on each other's vehicles as part of a friendly tradition known as Jeep ducking, which promotes kindness and community among Jeep enthusiasts. Wu-Tang, what'd you do? Did you Google that? Huh? Which means, oh my Lord, guys, y'all gonna get me in trouble.
I was going to say, Wu-Tang, that's kind of sweet
That's
for them to
kinda
do that,
sweet.
isn't it?
They'll get me in
That's
trouble.
sweet. Yeah, we're going down a rabbit
There'll
hole.
be protests outside of Fish, North Georgia tomorrow.
The whole Jeep club will be out here.
Some girls started it in 2020, and it means go duck yourself.
That's
Okay.
kind of what I thought. You know, people be like, oh, I got ducked.
I ain't been ducked in a while.
Right.
He did Google it right there. Okay. Since we got, and listen, guys, I know you're going to talk fishing. I promise we will. The next question is the upside down pineapple. All right.
Oh,
At some point, it became known for the swinging lifestyle. Why? Why pineapple? These are things we were thinking about before the show. It had not a damn thing to do with fishing. And we
Nope.
want to know what the ducks were for and why swingers use an upside down pineapple. Now, Alex, when you and your wife swing,
We don't swing,
huh?
but
You don't swing.
I have an idea in my head of why it's pineapple, but I'm not going to say it.
Is it one of those you can't say it like that?
Yeah.
As a grown man, I can't take serious something that has ducks in the windows. David Weaver says it's a cruise ship. And I guess he's talking about the pineapple.
You do see little upside down pineapple magnets on certain doors, and
Well, you see him.
I didn't knock on any of them, but I mean, it's
Tim,
there.
you were on a cruise
I
recently.
I saw those.
You didn't partake in
I did
the
not.
upside
No,
down
didn't,
pineapple
Didn't even
lifestyle?
knock on them. I just kept on trucking, minding my business.
Didn't you get at least a bit curious?
No, and the hallway's too long to do one of those, you know,
Knock and run.
knock and run.
Just see who answers the door.
Yeah, take off running and hide. You can't do it.
And again, I didn't mean to hijack the show with those rabbit holes, but these are the things that if you come up here before the show, we are discussing, and we had a very serious. Definitely means something on a cruise ship, and it's a universal lot lizard symbol.
Lot lizard.
But it's just like
So it came from the trucking community?
all right, any of you truckers out there, why do you have upside
This
down
rabbit
pineapple?
hole is like an ant nest. There's
We
little
might not
lines
talk
going
fishing tonight
everywhere.
like that. But so somebody in the comment section did say a girl started it, and of course Wu-Tang gave us the great Slick's boat got ducked in Gunnersville.
I got ducked.
I have to text Slick tonight. And
Send us a picture of you duck, Slick.
well, Nick B says when Jeeps get in a wreck, I imagine all those ducks all over the road, and that's what Tim said because he's a cop, you know. But he said he was going to take some pictures.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get us some
If
pictures
we get a
of that.
crash from one of those, I will take some pictures of the little
Just the
ducks.
ducks everywhere.
Yeah, we'll list them as injuries in the crash report.
We-
With chalk outlines.
you know, what
Occupants of the vehicle,
happens- do you have to count the ducks
probably.
like as a evidence? So Tony Hall, the original live well. That's right, baby, right there.
OG.
And John G. Wilson. What's up, guys? Hey, congratulations on your win. And also, too, Tim won his tournament Sunday on Lanier. Tim, if you don't mind, we did have this conversation, too. How muddy was it up where you were at? Because we were talking the other night about how fast the water, because it was going to rain so hard Saturday night, which we didn't get nothing but rain. But you people in Paulding County and other places that had some damage, we feel for you. My aunt's house got damaged with that little tornado that came through there. But we were talking about how fast when water falls like that does the Chestatee muddy up coming into Lanier. Because he had a tournament Saturday morning, which the weather looked fine once it cleared. But I'm just curious as to how fast.
Yeah, because everywhere is different. Every body of water is different. Some of them will muddy up quick. Some of them, you're like, oh, nothing happened. And then you go back out there 4 days later and it's chocolate milk.
Yeah. So,
It takes that long for the runoff to get in there.
so Tony Watkins is a trucker. And Tim said it was actually way clearer than it was last Saturday. Well, there you go.
Wow.
That's kind of shocking right there. Brad Silver says, I'm sure, hit that one right there. I'm sure there's a duck holding an upside down pineapple somewhere right there. So, hey, listen, we were just wondering, and we figured we got the best viewers in the world. And those are questions that are not going to get asked on the other live well. Could you see Tommy Sanders going, hey, what's an upside down pineapple? And Kevin Van Dam going, well, Tommy,
Instant commercial break.
been trucking for 26 years. And
The producer director would be like, commercial?
A pineapple on a truck, but I never thought I would see truckers in flip flops. Well, hey, you guys are your own. You're like kayakers. You're your own people right there. So love all you guys. So Mudline hadn't reached the ramp area. Listen, it rained like crazy. And I was really curious as to how that would mess the fishing up, if it would help it a lot, because we didn't get the wind up here that I think everybody thought we were going to get. But good grief, from midnight, I talked to you. You were working wrecks, and
it was raining sideways.
Yeah,
literally sideways.
You were over there in Rome or Cedartown and all that.
Town.
And he texted me back, goes, I'm soaked. So anyway, but congratulations, Tim and John, on y'all's wins. And of course, if any of you other guys won a tournament, congratulations to you as well. So anyway, let's get to talking. So Bassmaster, though, the Classic, what do you think about them coming back to Knoxville next year? Or Nashville? I said Knoxville, wherever the hell they're at. Knoxville, yeah.
Knoxville.
So what do you think? Hey, I'd like to go to the Classic just to walk around and see all the stuff.
We'll go. It's amazing. Knoxville is a kind of a weird setup for the expo because it was on multiple different levels.
Right.
I stayed lost the whole time I was there. I didn't know my way around. It was like I said, but it's big rooms. I mean, you can't move in it. I mean, it's more people than you ever thought would ever show up for something like that. It's a bunch of rednecks in one spot.
Oh, heck yeah.
Which is good for me.
My kind of crowd.
But it's cool. I mean, they get a ton of free giveaways. You can walk up. All the pros are there. You can meet the guys that aren't fishing. And then once they get done, a lot of times in the evenings, the guys that fish will come over and do their thing. But yeah, it's a great time. I mean, if you love bass fishing, you got to go.
What's better, going to the actual weigh-in of the Classic itself or the Classic convention part of it? Because I've never been to one.
Yeah, it's really good. It's one of those. With it being in Knoxville, it's one of those you get a room so you can do both. I enjoy the expo more so than I do the weigh-in personally. But like I said, I get to walk around, look at different things, look at vendors. There's some stuff that a lot of times, Bass Cat's got a new boat that's coming out on the 21st.
Really?
It's going to get debuted at the Classic at Fort Worth. Yeah, so it's called the Predator. I want to see the layout.
I need to get them to be a sponsor.
Be nice, wouldn't it?
Bring your walking shoes, Papa Smurf. Knoxville is spread out.
It is.
Yeah, I can see that. But of course, we're not going this year. Clint's out there. I guess he's out there with Yamaha.
Yeah.
This week. So, he gets going. So next year, we might just take a Big Fish North Georgia contingent up there because it's like ICAST for the public.
Yeah.
And a lot of you guys are going to go to ICAST with me this year. And, and Tim's been down there. And it's a great time. But the best thing about ICAST is there is no public. So you have more access to all the guys and everything. Atlanta Outdoors said he had 8-foot visibility on Lanier today, clearer than I expected. I mean, it's weird. But somebody said, where was it, about 60-degree water temp?
It was up.
Right there. Fished Hartwell today, back of the creek got up to 60 degrees. And in talking about the spawn, most things, if you Google it and all that, 60 degrees right there is about the magic water temp.
That is the magic number.
But we always have guys talking about this fish, and I think even Ryan said it the other night. They're already seeing a fish on bed here and then. We always talk about that first wave coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you fish Guntersville a lot.
Mm-hmm.
When does it happen on Guntersville usually, and when do you get your first wave?
It's probably now. I've been working so much. I haven't been up there in a couple of weeks, but they're probably getting really close. It seems to start around 57, but the thing is, and I've done this myself, is you get out there and, it's 60 degrees when I get off the water. What is it when you get on the water?
Right.
That's the number to me. Is I know it's getting warm, they're pushing, but I want 57 to 62 in the morning.
Yeah, you want the baseline to start at the magic number and maybe increase a little,
and maybe even a little bit below. You'll get those first ones push up, but it's real important not to look at that 5 o'clock hour and go, well, hell, it's 62 now, but it was 57 this morning. You need to make sure you look at that starting number.
At the start number.
Well, nowadays water, you could get on the water. We got on the water last week, and it was in the low 50s, and then by after lunch, all of a sudden it hit 60.
Yeah.
Really?
So you're going almost 10 degrees.
But that's surface.
That's surface temperature.
That's surface right there. And then so real quick, so yeah, Wu-Tang said there was a 6'3" spot on Hartwell recently, and that was the late record. That's a big spot for up there.
That is a toad of a
and
spot.
then somebody said there was like an 11 something called.
Yeah, I saw the post
Tony
about
Watkins
it too.
on Hartwell. I'm assuming he meant Hartwell. 11-3.
Mm-hmm.
Next Tuesday night, we're going to have Colin Steele on, and he fishes with us a little bit in the electric world, but he is a biologist, and so we're going to ask him a lot of questions next Tuesday night. But he caught a 10+ the other day on a crappie jig, 6-pound test on his second cast. He was crappie fishing 10 something, and that's how it works.
I bet that was a wild ride.
Yeah, on 6-pound test, and so like hell, you're not expecting that.
No,
and you get something like that. The best evening, and I have to quote it, that I had on Latham by myself when I was going around was I was crappie fishing, and I was throwing a crappie jig, and I couldn't catch the first crappie, but I waylaid the bass. I mean, they were just 5-pounder, 5-pounder, 4-pounder, and it was like stupid. And then we had like a tournament there a week or two later, and I had that crappie jig on the thing just in case. And I threw it. I didn't get a damn bite on that thing. It was just one of those magical.
It's like I'm gonna try to replicate that secret magic.
I did. I had it on the same damn Zebco 33 that I caught him on the day before. I didn't change nothing. So, what's up, Kevin? Tony Hall says the expo is fantastic. And then pull up Aaron Parker's right there. He's got a question. I think, Dave, you can kind of chime in on this. When you say a water temp, are you referring to it first thing in the morning? And that's what you were saying.
Yeah, I put the boat in, let it sit there idle, do the warm-up thing. And I'm usually looking at it on my back graph that's on my 3-in-1 that's in the water, been sitting there for a little bit. That's the one I'm looking at.
Yeah,
okay.
it takes transducers a few minutes to acclimate to the water. You can't just all of a sudden, oh my God, the water's 58 degrees. It's not.
Got to warm up a little bit.
It's got to start. It's been at air temperature going down the road. Now it's at water temperature, so it has to kind of acclimate.
Brad Silvers, you guys are great. And this is why you always have the best questions, because you're thinking stuff like I'm thinking right here. Pull that up. If surface temp is 60, what is it a couple feet down? And is there a scientific method to figure that out?
If you're
That's
bed
a good
fishing,
question.
it is. If you're bed fishing, this is the way I think about it. Is when you're bed fishing, I'm usually not more than 2 or 3 foot deep. My trolling motor is about a foot in the water. So I don't know that it's more than a degree or two.
Right.
Now, if we're out in the middle of the lake and it's, 60 degrees on my surface temp, or at Lanier, we're over 100 foot of water.
You can
it's
guarantee
cold as hell down there.
10 or 12 feet down, you're going to start losing temp.
Right. But like I said, when you're that shallow, I don't know that it's that big a temperature fluctuation.
All right. I got my Copenhagen in now.
He's good to go.
I'm good to go. I have to start the show off without it. But then once I can put it in, now I feel like I'm ready to go and talk. Now we're at the boat ramp.
We're at the boat ramp.
So here's my question. Here's the thing. When we talk about spawning bass, now I don't want to get into actually picking fish off the bed, because Kevin Thornton in the comment sections in there he's going to scold me. He's going to scold me. What I'm wanting to know, and what I'm curious about you guys, and again, honestly, this is as much for me as anybody, is we've got the pre-spawn. So you're going to have pre-spawn fish. You're going to have the first wave moving up, spawning and all that. You can kind of say we're still talking pre-spawn and all that, but like the fishing techniques that you're using, when they're not locked onto the bed, they're not really, because when they get locked on, that's when it's a little bit tougher. But what are some of the techniques that we can use in that magical 5 days before, 3 days before, when they're not taking when the bucks are still taking the shaky head and taking the love offerings out to the big girls, as Warren Barnes likes to say.
Right.
What are some of the things? A lot of guys are pulling out the mag draft right now to get big girls to show themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that something that plays all the way through the spawn, since there's so many kind of coming on and coming off? And Alex, you're a kayak guy, so you're fishing shallow a lot, so you see it. Feel free to chime in on that. I mean, does your technique start changing a little bit when you see fish starting to build beds?
I mean, not really, no.
What are you doing?
Shaky head.
How the hell did I know he was going to say shaky head?
Everybody says
Yeah,
shaky
Wu-Tang
head.
says,
Shaky head. I like ChatterBait.
You like a ChatterBait?
Yeah.
But like you fish a ChatterBait on Lanier a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a ton of grass, which is kind of opposite of what a lot of guys throw a chatterbait at. Like you're from Gunnersville, you're throwing that thing because of the grass.
Yeah.
So what is it about a chatterbait in the pre-spawn spawn? I mean, what is it that you like about it?
I just like the action on them.
Just the action.
Yeah, I like the action on them, and they get bit.
Well,
I catch
hell, I mean,
fish
I
on
guess that works if nothing else.
Right. It irritates the fool out of them when it comes through the water with all that vibration. But
It does make sense. Wu-Tang fan said, I bet a Jeep owner with a duck would know as far as the water temp. Christopher Brown, right up there at the top. We mentioned that when we were doing our sponsors. Posted, Bill Payne caught 24 something on Allatoona, the biggest bag he ever had, and they were all largemouth. And that's another thing. I think in the spawn, this time of year, pre-spawn and spawn on North Georgia lakes is when the largemouth come into play more than any other time of the year. And it's where we see all the big girls getting posted. Are you targeting like largemouth when you're on the water? Like right now, if you were going to Lanier? I mean, how would you do it?
Sorry, Kevin, not unless I'm sight fishing.
What did Kevin say?
Nothing. I just know how much he likes
we're
that.
going to stir up Father Time. And
Father Time does not like fishing.
He is
bed
dead
fish,
set.
and I can respect that.
It's a sin.
I respect it.
I don't. I literally, most of the majority of the largemouth I've ever caught out of Lake Lanier is out of a 35-foot brush pile in Ball Ridge.
Really?
Yeah. For some reason, I probably caught 30 fish out of that brush pile, and I had one buddy that caught a spot. Everything I've ever caught out of that brush pile is largemouth. I have no idea why. That's the last place I would expect a largemouth to be, and it's right in the middle of Ball Ridge.
We need to mark that down for me when we get done right here.
I'll give you the dot.
Hey, going up, because I see Martin Outdoors. Go to the comment right above his. Let's see. Bottom line outdoors. On Lanier, is there an end of the lake that warms up faster than the other? Now, I would say typically the spawn starts, as people say, on the northern part of Lanier and works its way down. Now, over the past couple of years, conversations, they kind of argue that a little bit, but generally that's the thing. And because the next pull up Martin Outdoors, this is the very next comment. Now, you guys listen to this. Caught 3 off the bed this past weekend on Lanier, and I mean way up the river. So he's either up the Chattahoochee or he's up the Chestatee. And then Tim, you fished Tim White. If you're still out there, you fished that tournament and you were up the Chestatee. Did you see anything on bed? I'm just curious as that. But it's kind of tough because you can fish up there. Okay, so say they're going on bed up the river right now. You don't hear any guys on the south end saying it. So you're fishing 2 different ways if you're going up there. And Martin, were those largemouth? That would be, I'm sure they were. But I'm just curious as to that. Let's see. Going up. There was a couple on the water with Rod and Jesus right there. Anybody got some juice for getting the hook in them on a Nico? I got the man for you right here. Tried it out, and I've lost so many fish in the last 2 weeks. So put the camera on my man right here. This is the guy that you call it. Listen, you call it the chicken rig, but
somebody had to tell me what it was called.
But it is a Nico.
It looks like a chicken.
Listen to this guy. Tell him how to keep them hooked on a Nico. He has showed me some stuff, guys.
The big thing with a Nico is I do throw an open hook, but I changed my rod. I put it on a medium action rod. It seems to work fine. I throw something called a chicken rig, which is basically a VMC style hook that's got a little barb keeper off one side. And I run it up, and mine's Texas rigged. I do that mostly because where I came from, over there around Far Dog in East Texas, it was grass, it was stumps, and I just got tired of losing hooks. So I figured out a way to rig it. But a key to it is the rod. If you do it, if you rig it up that chicken rig style, and you can Google it, I think Mike Iaconelli is the one named it. I've been throwing it that way for years. I didn't know it had that name. But if anytime you bury a hook on a worm like that, if you'll go up 1 power on your rod. So mine, I go from a medium with an open hook to a medium heavy with that chicken rig. Anytime that I go in and bury that hook back in it, you need just enough rod to pop that hook out. I don't lose very many.
No, it's not.
And the way it rigs is kind of like my shaky head. The way I rig my shaky head, when they bite it, the hook slides up towards the eye of the hook. Anytime you can do that, because a lot of times with a Nico, you've got to make sure that hook gets out of the way. so you don't occlude the bite of the hook. That's huge. And like I said, shaky head fishing, Nico fishing. If you can figure out a way to make that worm go up that hook, hell, up the line, I don't care. You got to get the worm away from the bend, barb, and point of that hook.
Yeah, that makes sense right there. So you heard Paul Driscoll here one time. He calls it bent worm. Bent
worm.
But what if you can? And I wish we had hell. I should go get a worm. But what he does is when he hooks it with that VMC style, you're down about a third of the way.
I'm about this far from the end.
Yeah. So your tail.
Yeah.
And the eye of the line is towards the end of the worm, not the head.
Tail of the worm.
So you got it Texas rigged, but it's almost kind of like reversed.
Yeah.
In a way. And so then when you set the hook, really all you got to do, you're dealing with the thinner part of the worm as well.
Right.
Because you're not hooked into the
fattest it's
section.
Actually hooked back into the head of the worm, which is more. But the way I hook it, because I run it all the way through and I skin hook it, when they bite it, it pushes that worm up the shank of the hook and keeps it away from the bend.
Right. Oh, that makes sense. And I think Tim's going to get one. We might do it. Tim Wyatt says, I didn't look, and we're talking about bed and bass where he was at, partly because, where does comment go? Oh, it's right there at the top. I refuse to do it, partly because I suck at it. And a lot of guys do, and they spend a lot of time looking at it. So anyway, here's a worm. Do I have any of them VMC hooks in here?
I don't know.
Well, no, hell, you
Hang on, I'll go shop.
go shop.
So I get about this far from the end. And like I said, I run that hook all the way through it, and I run it up. I get the bend of the hook is here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go through the hook, through the worm, and skin hook it. So when they bite it, that worm just travels up that hook. And if you want a nail weight in it, because I usually use a trick worm, it's real light, I put the nail weight in the head.
Yeah, let's see.
Is that it? VMC Finesse Nico?
It is.
Yeah, but I don't know if these are the ones that's got the barbs on them or not.
Yeah, should.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a monofilament
Do
or
any
something.
of our up close cameras, are they on?
No, this one was the best one. Yeah.
Some of our cameras
It took a
hit the
dump.
bed, but anyway.
Well,
Kind of show.
I can focus this one since I happen to be here.
So let's get a zoom in on him, if we can do that. All right, so kind of show him the hook a little bit. Whoop. Back it up just a smidget.
Put it in front of my face, maybe you can see it.
Yeah, you got to go back out because it's a little different. Lord, we got Tim playing with the cameras right there. You can kind of see it. So it's got a
That's what I
bob.
did.
So
There
the
you
little
go.
barb is right here. Hang on.
Yeah, you can see it now.
You can see it against that background. See that little barb? It's like a piece of monofilament keeper. It looks like they took monofilament line and ran it through a bobber stop and ran it up on the hook.
Yep.
Is what it looks like.
You're doing a good job, Tim.
So I take the hook, I go through the worm on the rib side to where it looks like this. Get it where you can see it.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. You turn it perpendicular so it runs up over the keeper and then turn it back where it's in line with the worm. Then I go through the flat side of the worm, out the other side,
Skin hook it.
and then I skin hook it. And then I take it, I usually have this bit off and I put a little nail weight, like a 3/32 or 16, something real small in there. And that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And it's unreal.
And those little monofilament tabs keep that worm from sliding down the hook.
Right.
It pins them like that. And I'm telling you, he got me throwing it, and it's a hell of a damn rig.
Especially if you got grass. So like if I'm on Lanier, I'll have one of these rigged up, and then sometimes I'll even throw an open hook like a Cinco. If I'm going down through there and there's nothing to hang up on, throw the Cinco. You get to an end of a tree, I'm gonna throw him in there.
Yeah.
And like I said, it comes through grass, especially like I fish Gunnerville so much. You can throw an open hook and guys up there do it.
That's good right there.
But golly, you fight it so much, it's just not worth it. And they bite this just as well. And I'll even throw the mag trick worm on there. I have a bigger fat profile.
Yeah. So when we were at Gunnersville, we need a visual. Yeah, we try. when we were at Gunnersville, again, that was the first time I'd ever fished that. My God, the grass. But you had me throwing that, and I caught some fish on that.
Yep.
But the one thing about it is you can throw that in the nastiest of grass and bring it back through,
It'll
which
come out.
Yeah, you
definitely
can swim that through there.
on the near, end of a blowdown.
Yep.
You know, like
I'll
that.
throw it in a blowdown.
Now, somebody had a question about how do you keep your nail weights in the worm. I saw it up there. You ain't got to go back to, but I know that question was there. And
Farmer
said
answered it.
super glue.
You can super glue it or use the VMC makes a really good nail weight, and I take it and just shove it in there. I probably lost one or two. Now you'll lose them if a fish gets up there and gets to flopping.
Now let me tell you something. Some of them are made to screw in, but that one time me and Ryan were fishing, and I had the, they got the kind of real small nail weights, and they got the mushroom heads.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had the mushroom heads, and I just stuck that son of a gun in there, and I reared back and went, boom, and here, kaboom. And I'm worried. I'm like, damn, something don't feel right. I reel in. I ain't got no weight. Ryan goes, what was that? I said, hell, I think I threw my weight off. Stuck another one in there and went, boom. And he was like, what do you do? And I said, I'm sticking the damn nail weight. I'm sticking the weight in there because you got to screw it in.
Yeah.
And then when you take your time and screw it in and throw it,
Yeah.
they stay on.
They do.
It's amazing. But this little chicken rig right here, I'm telling you guys, seriously, and this will work on any lake, anywhere. But those little barbs right there, they keep that, what Paul likes to call a bent worm, and that's your action on it. I mean, it's doing this up and down in that thick cover like that, and it's pretty damn tempting.
It's good. It's like I said, I've been doing it that way a long time, and I started with the old hooks that had the little bitty barbs on it, and you throw it about 5 or 6 times. You have to change your worm out or do something because it tear it up. You go through a lot of worms. There's no doubt. It's not economical. But they do bite it.
It's effective, though.
It is effective.
And effective is what we want.
Yes, sir.
Now, David Weaver, and guys, listen, if you had a comment up there, again, as always, like we tell you every time, if we missed it, to keep Alex from having to scroll back up and down, type it again, and we will get to it. David Weaver, now, I like this, and this is kind of going back to that spawn, pre-spawn right there, this kind of stuff right here. We do not so much look for bedding fish, but in the evening, we love to throw the Zoom horny toad into shallow water, shallow docks. Because those fish that are not hooked onto the bed or, they're still pre-spawn. They're up there feeding.
Yeah.
And you can get some absolute blow-ups on that horny toad. Ryan got me hooked on that. Now, I still am not convinced totally on why he only throws white. But I know he only throws a white horny toad. Because I've caught him on the green pumpkin and stuff like that. But Ryan insists if it's this time of year and somebody's got white horny toads, he's going to buy every daggone one of them.
Oh yeah, he'll take somebody's entire stock.
He will. So, but that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about when I'm talking about fishing the spawn, pre-spawn, not so much bed fishing. What are the techniques that people can go to right now and catch those big girls while they're up before they lock on, and then maybe even after they lock on? Because like once they come off, which will happen generally for a couple of days, they're kind of like us, they're recovering. But then they go back to feeding again because they got to recover from the spawn. Does the horny toad play over in Gunnersville?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of guys throw it. I mean, I know it's a big frog lake, but the horny toad itself.
The horny toad, yeah, it works good. I throw if I'm going to throw that one, I actually like the ribbit better. It's got a little more kicking action on the legs, where the horny toad's more like a vibra crawl.
Yeah.
It's got more like paddle legs.
Mm-hmm.
It works really good. Hell, a popping frog over there from the spawn all the way through the brim spawn into summer is hard to beat.
You know what's funny? Popping frog doesn't get talked about a lot, but they were some guys on Latham last year, and the grass, it's got snot grass on the bottom. We don't have anything like Gunnersville, but even in open water, that popping frog,
yeah,
a lot of guys utilize that on clear lakes where
it looks like a brim.
Yeah, and it's like you get some big blow ups on that.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, of all the frog kind of things that I've thrown, and I'm not a frog expert, that popping frog is the one that I've seen in the toilet bowl more than any of them.
I call them from distance.
Yeah, it does. It does do that.
And it's like there's a dead brim or bluegill up here that's.
Well, you fish brushy and over there a lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you were going to do like right now up and through the spawn, what are you guys doing over there? Because y'all are in some shitty water.
Oh, it's brown year round.
That's what I'm saying. It's brown water. So what techniques are you guys using to call up right at the pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn fish?
Well, you can run a buzz bait. That'll call them.
Yeah.
Like I said, deep water over there is 5 foot sometimes.
That's
so
right.
you're fishing shallow the whole time. Spinner baits, if you find them kind of congregating, if you can't get them to chase a spinnerbait, put a shaky head or a wacky right to them.
Okay. Pull up John G right there. You were flashing him. Give him some love since he is now a winner. Cool, Tony. I'll try that. Oh, he was talking to Tony. Tony dips his June bug in chartreuse, the tail. Not much difference, but it'll be enough. And a lot of guys, chartreuse, springtime of the year, a lot of guys are dipping. A lot of guys do it year-round, but it seems like a lot more do it in the spring. And then there was a question from Brad Silvers, and you guys may know the answer to this. Do largemouth actually spawn before spots, or are they just more visible because they're shallow?
I think it's the shallow part more than anything.
I was going to say yes and yes and yes.
All of the above.
I think our mindset is when we think bed and fish, we think largemouth. What are you laughing at? Kevin, where's he at? Huh? What did he say?
Bed fishing, Dave. I know where you live.
Yeah, he does. But when we think bed and bass, we always think of the big largemouth that come up in 2 foot of water and make a bed. But the spots bed, of course, deeper.
Yeah, they're in the next stage out.
Part. So they're out.
People will catch them and be like, man, I caught some big spots. And it's like, you just didn't realize
that you're fishing bed.
Yeah, they're out there probably on a hard spot.
The difference in a largemouth and a spot when they're on bed is a spot will go 20 feet just to knock the crap out of something just because it can.
Yeah,
they don't lock on.
They're
like the
irritated little bastards.
So I don't know the answer to that, Brad, but I if I were guessing, I'd say you might get your first wave of big largemouth coming up. So it's Jason Dom. I'll get to your comment in a second. So I saw somebody said, what brand horny toad? And what's up, trip fishing? So what was yours? So
I throw the ribbit.
You throw the ribbit, and that's Strike King, or who's the ribbit?
I don't know. I have no idea. The horny toad zoom.
Horny toad is definitely
zoom. Horny toad is zoom.
And it's got, like I said, it's got more of a tighter tail to it, where it's like I said, like a vibra crawl. Well, the ribbit's got bigger tails. I actually throw the bull ribbit, the big one.
Okay. Mendo Bird, appreciate you joining us tonight. Oh, Lord, what am I going to do with this fella right here? Berkeley Chapo is a killer here in Lake Murray in the bone color.
Yep.
2 things come to mind. Number one, Randy Blockett put a video out last year, the year before,
God,
that
I
said,
remember that.
Bone, you remember that?
Bone's overrated.
Bone is overrated.
Throw baby bass.
but then he says, oh, it'll catch fish, but it's overrated. Like that. It's like his videos make no difference.
The only thing Randy caught with that was all of us for clicking on it because he said bone doesn't work, so we all click on it.
Yeah, and he said bone's a great color, but it's overrated.
Yeah, that's Randy's master of fishery.
He is like that. So appreciate you joining us. Now, I would say though the Chapo, again, you're talking though about like the buzz bait.
Mm-hmm.
We'll call them at least. I think that's more what you're going for when you do that. Let's see, Jason Dom. I like this one. Listen up, Danny. Here's what you need to do: trademark Livewell and do it in the Brutalista font. I will just say that process got started last night about 10 o'clock.
Stay tuned.
Cease and desist is coming, baby. Wind has been so bad around here, hard to get out there cranking and yanking. Hey, listen, it's been blowing down here too. So a lot of guys have talked about it. And then it's supposed to be blowing again, of course, over there at the Classic this coming up week. Aaron Young. I fish a lake here with dirty water and undercut banks. What is a good technique for working undercut banks? So my first question would be, and I'm not going to answer that because I'm not the expert here, but for those of you, Stanley Ribbit, Brad Silver says. So for those of you that do fish undercuts, my thinking would be you would need some kind of current to help get up under there. If it's kind of like, think chick, like the ledge walls when they pull in current that you can just kind of float that worm or whatever down.
How deep is this undercut bank too? How deep's your water?
So, but let's say it's just a bank that just gets a lot of wave action that's got an undercut. How do you guys, especially with dirty water, because that's what he says, it's got dirty water.
You could skip a jig back up in there.
Mm-hmm.
Skip a jig?
Yeah, just let it hit the bank. Let it go up on there and hit and fall.
Yeah. That's pretty good. For those of us that can't skip, what's an option?
A wacky.
Well, hell, I'm going to throw a wacky.
Mostly if you can't skip a jig like Farmer, which I'm no good at that, but I can skip a wacky worm pretty much where I want it.
Hell yeah, I can do that too.
So I just use the tool that I can use instead of what I'd really want to.
Okay, but on an undercut bank where you really can't get all the way up underneath, are you trying to call the fish out?
Yeah,
You're trying to pull them out from that.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the wacky
or something that hits and falls in front of them. If they're hiding up under the undercut, they're ambushing things that may fall out of the trees or whatever and fall past them.
There you go. So, Aaron, I don't know. Good question, though, that Tim asked is how deep is it where you're talking about the undercut banks right there? John G., right there at the bottom. This might be a stupid question. No, sir. If
No
anybody's
such
going to ask
thing.
a stupid question on this
That's our
show,
job.
that's me right there. But is bass spawning in a lake similar to them spawning in a river like the Oconee River or the Okmulgee, which is a damn good question? That is a good question. I don't know the answer to that. Do you fish current?
We fish current.
They don't have no, let's say in the river, they don't have no big flats or anything like that.
They're
So
gonna those
they're
fish
gonna-
are gonna move till they find somewhere
They'll
that's
find
current
somewhere
break.
a current break. But the other thing is too, usually that flowing water is a little cooler.
Yeah.
Like for instance, you can go to Russell in the summertime. You can sit down there and fight them 12-inch spots all you want, or you can run way up the river to Hartwell and they reverse the current on the weekends. The water temperature up there, I've seen it 10 degrees difference. So my question is, what's your water temperature?
right.
And then find those little eddies and stuff like that where if it's slick, straight banks, they got to find somewhere to get out so that they can actually spawn.
Well, how about this question? This is for me, since you talked about that magic number, and I said, when you Google it, 60 degrees. River's going to stay cooler a lot longer than a lake.
They'll
So do
spawn
they spawn
eventually.
later?
Light of day.
Maybe.
So are we talking a month, 2 months later? Or is it, I don't fish
I
enough
don't-
rivers. And if you guys out there fish rivers, throw the answer out there in the comment section, what you guys have seen on the rivers as far as the spawn. But you see my point?
Yeah.
Because in a lake, we're looking for that magic number. Well, hell, it might take, I don't know what the Etowah is down here. It's got a lot of spotted bass in it. Now, maybe as you get closer down to Allatoona and it slows down a little bit, it gets wider, I'm sure it's warmer. But what about these fish up here in Dawson Forest that are like, they stay year round?
Yeah.
There's no telling how long it takes that water to get to 60 degrees.
No, but also that they may go a little earlier with time of day, length of day.
That's what I was going to say.
stuff.
So are those fish more affected by the time of day? And
I would think so.
Yeah, I would say the daylight, because the daylight, the longer days and the water temperature are kind of two factors
yeah.
that trigger them to spawn or start.
Oh,
And
no
spawn,
doubt.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the
no
full
doubt.
moon's coming in behind it.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Martin Outdoors, the wacky worm is so damn dangerous this time of year. Amen, brother.
Darn Skippy.
Amen to that. It's my time of year, and the bad thing is I don't get to fish. Like I'm going to miss my tournament this Saturday. I got to go to a funeral down in LaGrange, and it's on a lake that I really want to fish, and I know the wacky works really good there over at Hickory Log. There's a lot of things that's going to work, and there's a lot of different ways you can fish it. You can fish it out deep. You can beat the banks, but we always fish it in July when it's so stinking freaking hot.
And change your leader. If you haven't changed your leader since last year, learn from my mistakes. Put a new fluorocarbon leader on your wacky.
Hell, I did
Man,
it at Allatoona.
Since last year?
Well, I'm just saying, somebody that hadn't changed it since they used it or whatever.
Oh, I got what you're saying. I got what you're saying.
I've used mine since then, but you know how some people, I don't use that until spring. But
Well, I'm not the best at checking my knots, and I got to get better in that.
Oh,
But when we were up Allatoona, I put a brand new leader, tied a new knot on, shaky head, and was working it. But I was in all them rocks, and then when I finally hooked a big one, I say a big one for up there. I'm guessing it's about a 3-pound spot up there, and I'm which is big for Allatoona. But I'm fighting it, and all of a sudden it goes boom, and I'm like, damn, I just broke off. But when I looked, it had broke on my knot. So I'm sure dragging it through them rocks and everything, I had chipped it, broke it. Because, it was a brand new leader.
well, I got into big fish one day and saw it just go swimming off. Reel down, set the hook, swims around for a second, pulls a little drag. Everything's going pretty smooth. Pink.
And look, Tim goes, I changed my leader before every trip.
Same.
Well,
Very good idea.
listen, Tim catches fish. That might,
Right,
so he
yeah.
has to. Who uses a leader? Is that a Georgia thing? Cranking and yanking wants to know. Buddy, you come down here to these clear waters, you better use a leader if you're going finesse for sure.
yeah, braid
And we're talking most of the time we're throwing spinning rods and we're throwing, our wackies. I know a lot of guys will throw them on on a bait caster and everything, but I like braid. And so braid the leader is for sensitivity, for sure. Martin says the biggest largemouth in Russell live up behind Hartwell Dam. They stack trout up there. They're up there feeding.
Yeah, well, like I said, the tournament, we went down there. We used to fish down there. When I fished with that little club here, we would go down there every year, and it would, like like I said, I got tired of chasing them little bitty spots. I ran up there one day, and like I said, it was like 10 or 12 degrees cooler, and we caught fish. They were where they were supposed to be. They were running current. You could pattern them. You could see them on active target. It was so much easier.
You liked it there?
I liked it.
You had a
up there.
good day? Cranking Yankin does say, though, the river I fish is very muddy 90% of the time, but it has creeks and pockets that break off the main river, which sounds like the Etowah, because the Etowah is muddy a ton, but there's some big spotted bass there. Now, Aaron's back to the undercut thing, right there in the middle, right up there. The undercut banks vary, usually 2 to 3 feet, believe it or not. The flying lure caught fish. You could glide it into the bank. That makes sense. Throw that up there and just let the lure's action itself pull it up under there. Never fished a flying lure, but that might be something. What is another type of lure?
I'd try a flutter spoon.
A flutter spoon?
Mm-hmm. The worldwide spoon that farmer got me on. When it falls, it backs up.
Yeah, it goes away from you.
But let me ask you this. So what size are you using on that?
I don't know what size it is. I just looked
is
online.
Is it a big one, like a 6-inch?
No, it's not huge. It's small. Yeah, it's like
so you're throwing like which makes sense in the shallower water.
It's real fat. Though.
You got to be tricky that you don't let it get up there and actually hook the bank.
You know, you can throw the credge. It goes backwards, they say.
Credge might be a.
I don't know. So let's see. Blitzum, favorite trailers for a Picasso spinnerbait, or any spinnerbait for that matter. I know Ryan had that one. It was a Bass Pro Shop something that he uses. Like, what's your? I use the Zoom. Zoom makes a spinnerbait trailer. It's kind of got 2 appendages coming. I like it. I use it. It's got some good colors.
Zoom twin tail.
Just a regular Zoom twin tail. What about you?
I like the MRE from Tactical Fishing Company.
Is this one of your? Is this?
I'm not plugging a discount code. I have a discount code.
Plug
you can
it.
Look on
Plug
my
it.
profile.
Plug it right now. Plug it.
Tactical Fishing Company. Use Alex at checkout. I like the MRE. It's the minnow ready to eat, and it is the best spinnerbait trailer out there.
There you go. So the unpaid for plug here at Fish North Georgia like that. No, I love Alex when you do that. There's nothing wrong with that. So what about you, Tim? I didn't ask you. What are you throwing on the back of your spinnerbait?
Twin tail grub.
Uh-huh.
Hell, you can put a fluke on the back of them, but I have really started using the freeloader.
Have you really?
I love it.
On the back of your spinnerbait?
On that and chatterbaits.
What is it? Just the action?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So.
And that new mooch minnow's even better. But.
Farmer says the MRE is legit. Tony Collins says the MRE is legit. What are you guys like? Y'all get together and do your TikTok lives together. You all kind of got product codes and all that.
Tony just caught a 6-pounder on it.
Yeah, I know. So let's see. Pull up the Far Dog. Ron up there, Lakari, I hope I pronounced it right. He likes the 4-inch Kitech paddle tail, and then of course right above that, the buzz bait is amazing up there, and that's our buddy Martin Outdoors right there. So, Far Dog. Greg Hackney says if you break off on fluoro, especially if your line breaks and hangs in a J, it was your knot that broke. I don't know what a J is, but
when you pull it up in your line.
When the line's got a J on the end of it, the fray looks like that. Well, I think mine was okay. It was your knot that broke. Well, I can tell you, mine, you can still see all the little spirals. So it's like it split it on one side, like I just had a sharp point right there. So Tim says I haven't fished Russell in years, but that place is the darkest place on earth at night.
It's pretty. I mean,
is it dark?
I don't know there's any houses. I don't know.
And that's a big lake too.
I don't think there's any communities real close by there
either. There's a golf course, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Carter's at night.
I would imagine.
Yeah, probably pitch black with no moon.
All right. So guys, listen. It's time to do our question of the night. And so, you know what you're going to win? I'm going to send you these Nikos and this
there you go.
Pack of Zoom worms right here. All right, for the question of the night. So let's pull up our buddies at Serve IT. Guys, if your company is looking for an all-in-one total IT solution for its company, whether it's big or small, Serve IT is the company for you. Customer service, American-based. They will stick with your problem if they have one till it is finished. But their best thing about them is they're going to prevent the problems from happening in the first place. So it doesn't matter whether you're a big company or small, but especially if you're a smaller company, you have no idea that you really do need some IT services. Trust me, I need them here because I am the IT department here like that. So I should get Serve IT to do mine. But guys, check them out at serveit.com. And if you're looking to make a career change, hey, go to their website, serveit.com, hit careers, and apply. They're looking for people that have their customer service oriented, got outstanding people skills, and they can train you. So if you're looking for a career change, Serve IT might be it for you. So we appreciate them for the question of the week. Now, very simple. 2 answers. Okay, it's going to be easy, so you guys better be quick with this. Okay, I'm taking all the boys to ICAST. All right, in July. So we're going to be down there. It's a good time. I'm going to love every minute of it. But here's the question. Listen to it all the way through. What large corporation is pulling out of ICAST this year, and one of their brands won for Hard Bait of the Year, Best of Show last year? So what was the overall company that's pulling out of ICAST this year, and what bait did they have last year that won Best of Show? Okay, and if you've been paying attention, we might have mentioned it tonight. So now remember, there's 2 answers. There's 2 answers right there. So Ken Pruitt, you got to quit that right there. All right. So give it to someone else. You didn't win, dude. You got to have 2.
You got to have 2. You got to have both of them.
Far Dog, you're close, but not correct. What is the overall conglomerate?
The parent company.
Yeah, the parent company. You guys are close. And a lot of you, listen, 2 answers. There's 2 answers. So this is fun.
It's the minnow ready to eat, David.
Farmer, you can't win. You're part of the show, so you can't win.
Yeah, and you can't be giving everybody the dang answers either.
There we go. Who was that? Who got it from? Nope, Tyler F. Nope, Far Dog was it. The very next one, because he said Pure Fishing. Now, Pure Fishing owns Berkeley, Abu Garcia, Penn, all them companies, and the Credge from Berkeley won it last year. So Far Dog, I'll send you these Nikos and these things.
Good thing we don't grade on spelling.
Yeah, we don't do spelling here. Hell, we're a bunch
Oklahoma.
of redneck. Ain't nobody can spell around here. Look,
Funny thing is when they goof it up, we understand what they're saying.
we do.
Yeah,
it's like redneck Ebonics. You know what I mean? It's redneck Ebonics.
we speak Appalachian American.
Was that what it is? Is it Appalachian American?
I think that's a thing now.
What about the guys down in South Georgia? Because they're flatlanders. They ain't Appalachians. They're Floridians, if they're anything.
Piedmontese.
Piedmontese.
Don't they call it the Piedmont region?
What do you
Appalachian, Piedmont.
I don't know.
Just piss somebody off and say something.
No. No, I gotta go down there next week.
Second question. Okay, so anyway, Far Dog got it, but Ken Pruitt says, second question of the week. How many 20-plus bags were caught at Gunnersville this past weekend? Danny has more to give away. And
40-something.
So wait, let me give him the prize. I'm going to give you Ken Pruitt's address.
Yeah.
So the first person that answers this correctly, I will give you his address, because he gets lonely at night when he's sending me stuff like that. So how many was it really?
It was 40. I think it was 40-something.
40-something 20-pound bags on Gunnersville this past weekend?
Ken, you tell me. I hadn't seen it, bud.
Farmer says 12.
No.
Listen, pull up Grant Carmichael while everybody's thinking about that. On the road show where y'all were fishing brim and the spot started schooling, Ryan seemed to burn a white horny toad like you would a fluke. It worked. Thoughts? Or was it just the closest rod? Now, actually, on that, he did throw the horny toad some, but what he did, he was catching them on the Thrasher's lure. What's that, Chuck?
The slick stick.
The slick stick. So basically, it's a I think it's 2, maybe 3 joints. So it's a jointed swim bait. It doesn't come with a tail. You can put your own tail on it like that. But that's what it was. Hell, the brim weren't biting. So, and there was actually a herring spawn going on.
Mm-hmm.
We come up on a herring spawn right there. So we sucked at the brim that day.
Speaking of weights, have everybody noticed the weights and just all the local tournaments and everything is just jacked?
Well, it sucks so much for so long. I'm glad to see them finally popping up there.
And you can take forward-facing sonar out because some of these guys aren't using it. I mean, they're it's a little of both.
But that was the bait, which leads me to Brad Silver's question. Tips to catching nomadic pelagic spots without forward-facing sonar. Well, you can fan cast the hell out of a minnow or a Kitech.
Spray and pray.
Spray and pray. That's a T-shirt. Spray and pray.
So. Yeah, spray and pray.
We should do that. David Weaver says, wonder why it is that you understand this. Yeah, we're rednecks, man. That's the way it is. But Brad, I would say too, first of all, you got to know the lake. So I'm just going to give you my experience on Latham because it's smaller. just from experience, I know they're out there in the middle. So not all the time, but you kind of know the areas. And if we don't have forward facing, we're fan casting underspins and just kind of work them through the water column, 20 foot, then 10 foot, and then burn the hell out of them. And sometimes they pop up. But that's really, that's a tough question on targeting them other than just if they should be there, they're there sometimes. You know how to target a spot without forward facing sonar?
I mean, you can do it on if you got. I don't know anything else but Lowrance, but like in the summertime, you can catch them out of brush and around brush with that because you got that air indicator. And like I can pull up to a brush pile, touch the brush pile, it'll tell me how far I am from it.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you don't know if they're there or not. You just you make 8, 10, 12 casts. If nothing comes up, you go to the next one. Where with forward facing, you pan it, nope, they're not there. You pull the trolling up and leave.
Right. So I think David Weaver's like you can throw a Chapo bone color. I mean, you can throw that. You can throw top water. It gets a little bit harder on bigger lakes like Lanier.
Mhm.
Of course, Latham's only 340 acres. So, but that's what I do, or just go to brush piles and just like you said, and just cast.
And there's a place. I got a place on Lanier. You're not getting that dot. But there is
what the hell?
Boy, just not getting that
Did you
dot.
see how
Disclaimer right out. There's a
I
place
mean,
that you shall
just
not
right
know.
off- yeah, just
I
right
did-
off the
well,
top.
Straight to bike club
I
rules.
learned this one.
That's
Brandon Cobb mentioned on a video he did. I think it was a Bass U video that he was riding down the lake one day and they just came up schooling 100 foot of water. He marked it, and he ain't gonna give you that dot either. He's in certain times of the year he can go back there, especially in the summertime when we spot lakes, and fish will just be there. They'll come up. I've got one on Lanier, and like I said, it's 100 foot of water. I don't know why they do that. I have no clue. But every once in a while, you'll be fishing close there, and the water will just start boiling with fish.
Think it could be currents.
No, it ain't current. It's out in the middle of a big flat.
Just on the flat.
But you're going based on history
Yeah.
at that point.
At that point, I am.
Which is kind of like what I do over at Latham. It's based on history. If we're doing that, 58 teams had 20 pounds or better at Gunnersville.
Time to go.
Oh, like that. Let's see. Pull up the cranking and yanking all the way at the top. Question: how do these idiots whose truck sits up higher in the front than the back pull a boat? What is that called?
Carolina squat.
Is that what I knew? You would
Carolina
know. See, the
squat.
kayak guy knew it.
It's
Frogging.
I'm a car
it's
guy.
big at
Yeah, he is a car guy. That
at
makes
Myrtle
sense.
Beach. They all like that. We went over there one time for vacation. And Jim's like, "What's wrong with these people?" I said, "I don't know. They should have put the back end on layaway."
It's the
I
same
guess
thing
so.
as the duck people.
Oh, is that what it means when your truck squats in the back? Is that
So
what
do
that
you.
means, Alex?
Well,
Yeah,
I
so do
mean-
you.
The problem with that
Guys
is,
walk around with their drawers half down. They busting slacks. So.
good Lord, you guys are going to get me in trouble tonight. Here's my thing with that Carolina squat, especially being a little bit on the height challenge side. How the hell they see?
You don't.
They don't.
You're
That's
just going
why-
down the road
that's-
blind. Like I have
That's
not
how
been
they
able to
make
see-
it illegal in some places. Because
Oh, it's illegal anyway because it's
and the
illegal to alter
headlights.
the suspension on a factory vehicle. Period.
What about if you jack it up? Technically, it's illegal.
Technically,
You're a cop, so you would know.
I wouldn't do that to somebody unless they were just some sort of jackwagon.
Thank
It's
you.
like,
But still, dude, like honestly, I would not be able to see. I'd die. I mean, or hurt somebody doing that. Let's see. This time of year, what would it take to win on Lanier? You better have 20 plus on the guys that get out there on the big water scoping tournaments. You better have 20 plus, so you're not even going to come close to check. Wouldn't that? I mean,
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say that? I mean, that's
20 is a good solid number.
20 is a
If you-
good side of
20 might get you paid.
maybe.
23, you got a shot.
You got a shot. Now that again, that is the guys that are going out, they're fishing, they're scoping deep and all that. Now this time of year, largemouth come into play, so you can do that shallow as well. But that's what I would guess. Fishing with Farmer. During this time of year, where are y'all starting and what are you starting with? So we're taking, the big wave of spawners hasn't come up. So right now, what are you doing if you're going out? And you can do Gunnersville or Lanier, and then Tim, you can answer that question for you over in Brushy and all that. What are you starting off with? And Alex, you're after Tim.
On Lanier, I'm starting on those 45-degree banks. Right up next, especially if there's a channel swing that comes up there close. It's the same as spawn fishing. I'm going to start there and start looking. And then
what is
depends
it
on
about
which
the 45-degree bank?
that just seems like where they spawn at 30 to 45 degrees with that rock and that busted up stuff that's about this big around.
Cat head rocks, like Farmer calls them.
Yeah, and it's usually got clay and sand and something like that on. That's where they want. Seem like that's where they want to be.
So you're targeting more spots. So when you do that,
Yeah, I'm not. I don't care if there's largemouth up there, great. But
you want the big spots.
I want big spots.
Okay, all right. Tim, Brushy Branch. What about you?
Well, it's shallow, so find the ditch, channel swings that may come up on a flat, because out there you're going to get your traditional what everybody has in their mind about bedding bass. They're going to be on a little flat with a little fanned out spot and nearly no water,
Right.
maybe some grass back in there. But if you can find this pre-stage spot where they're still lingering around where they haven't moved up,
Right.
that's where you're going to find your concentration of them.
I'm going to go back to you real quick. Forget to Alex, but what are you targeting them with? Like right now, in the next 3 weeks.
You can get them with a square bill. You're in shallow water.
Yeah.
Something shad colored, square bill.
So you're switching over to the shad color more than like everybody's been throwing the reds and oranges. Because
once it gets 60 degrees, you can put the red. I'd put the red stuff up.
Okay.
And the shad color is because that's what they're eating.
Yeah.
They're not eating crawfish out there.
Makes sense.
They're eating shad. And if that doesn't work, if they're just going to sit there and be stubborn, hit them with a worm.
Okay.
Jig.
Okay.
Your
basics.
Your basics, yeah.
Okay. What about you? I didn't ask you what you're targeting those fish on those 45-degree banks.
Shaky head.
Mm-hmm.
That worm, drop shot.
Casting your drop shot up there.
Mm-hmm.
What would make you go to a drop shot over a Nico or shaky head?
They got to not bite the shaky head. Shaky head's the first thing.
Yeah.
I've caught so many on that thing.
You dip your tail?
Nope.
Not this time of year?
Nope. Cream Company Magic.
I was going to say, I know what color worm he's going to throw.
But I also don't throw a screw lock either. I think that makes a big difference.
Why is that?
Because you get that little spiral fall going down. And I also glue my worm on there. If you glue your worm, because if you don't glue it on, when he bites it, he's going to pull it down around the bend of the hook. If you glue that worm on there, and I don't even go all the way through the worm, I just stick it in the worm. When you get that fish in the boat, that worm is all the way, has gone back up the shaft, so it doesn't impede your hook.
So it seems to me like in your comments tonight, that's the big thing, is getting the damn worm out of the way.
It is. I mean, when I got here, I didn't know any better. I was throwing it, and they were all knotted up around the thing. I wrong rod, and all things. I throw a medium heavy rod, and I throw that spot sticker. That's the best one I found.
The spot sticker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Something looks like that.
What about you, Alex?
Kind of the same as Dave. But I'm also going to start, like, first thing, I'm going to start fishing in the blow-throughs.
This time of year, blow-throughs.
Right now, yeah. With a shaky head or a little minnow.
Why? Why the blow-throughs?
They congregate there. Yeah.
Does the bait congregate there, or
Bait.
Is that so? You're looking for fish. You're thinking they're kind of like pre-herring spawn, they're just in that area right there.
Mm-hmm.
Does the blow-through have to be? Can it be out of the water, like if the lake's down?
Yep.
It's still good. It's just that little curve right there where they're normally at.
Mm-hmm.
What if the water's up?
That's
Same thing.
Yeah.
Even better, or which is better?
I like it shallow, but
Okay. That makes sense. So let's see. I saw Farmer says docks with a ChatterBait. No doubt I knew that. Brad Silvers wants to know, what is the slowest rolling buzz bait made? The Accent B2. I love it, but it's fragile. I love the B2. And you are right, though. It is fragile. And it takes, if you don't know what you're doing, getting that thing tuned back up after a big one gets it. I had a spot on Lanier last summer, annihilate one in about 4 foot of water. I was fishing for, it was in the evening, and I saw a spot come out from under this submerged, looked like somebody lost part of a dock. And I just brought it over, and I watched that thing come out from under that thing, and he just, boom, nailed it. But in fighting it all, when I got back up, that thing looked like here's the blades this way and the hooks this way and all that. I never could get it to run right after that.
Yeah, it started going sideways, going off to the right or left.
So David Weaver says secondary points with a jerk bait and flats right now. Hey, you know, I totally get that.
A farmer trying to throw me on the bus with my favorite.
The wobblehead. You do like a wobblehead.
Hey, it works.
You like the wobblehead. What are you
Yeah.
throwing on the back of your wobblehead this time of year?
Missile bait D-bomb.
A missile bait D-bomb. So you go a little smaller.
Yeah.
The D-bomb's almost like a Ned, kind of Ned bait.
Yeah.
What is it about that little size?
You tell me. Get a 3/0 hook. Don't get one of them big old
Get a smaller
5/0.
wobble head.
Get a 3/0. Yeah, if you can get the ones where you can just snip it on, put 3/0 EWG hooks.
Hey, listen, how you work it? Just out of curiosity, you just reeling it slow.
Get it down on the bottom and keep it there. The bottom contact is the secret to that bait. Speed is what you have to figure out. Do they want it to smoke and bomb to generate a reaction strike, or do they want it just trailing along, similar to just sweeping a jig?
Right.
But the faster the better, because if they're sitting there lethargic and they're on rock and something comes smoking across that gravel bed, we all know what happens. Their instinct is to either kill it, bite it, whatever.
Okay, here's my next question. So that D-bomb's got that tail. It's a flat tail.
Yeah.
When you rig that up, are you rigging it where it's sitting like this or like this?
Like that.
You're rigging it up. So here's your wobble head. The D-bomb's coming off and it is flat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason I use a D-bomb is when you stretch it out, you know, it's got a lot of fins. There's only a little center meat piece to it. A lot of people use a Z-crawl. Z-crawl works fine, but it'll fly. You'll get to reeling it, and as soon as you get speed up, it's up off the bottom.
It raises up.
And you want it to hit and bounce.
Right.
But you don't want it to fly, because it's like when it flies, nothing happens.
That's some juice.
Mm-hmm.
Some good juice there.
And most of the time, they're going to slackline you when they hit it. So if you feel it fly, start reeling. If that rod tip floats, give it to them.
All right. So that's my next question.
Stick it to them.
What's your setup with that? Like speed of the reel and everything, since you know you're going to get a lot of slack and you got to catch up with it. What are you throwing?
7.5 Daiwa.
Okay. So you pretty fast reel.
Yeah. You want some speed to it.
Okay. That makes sense. Ken says red for the bed, baby. And cranking and yanking. I used to buy the Strike King buzz baits and change out the prop to plastic. You can buy them online cheap. Now, I'm just curious, cranking and yanking, as to why you change them out to the plastic. What is the reasoning for that? Because I know, is it more for flotation? Because you love throwing a buzz. Both of you guys, I guess now, Alex, you throw a buzz bait?
Yeah.
So all of you guys, and I like a buzz bait too. Do you ever get one with the plastic?
Never.
You don't?
Never.
Okay, and you don't? What about you, Tim?
I would have never thought to do that.
So, Cranking, put in the comment section why you change it out.
Yeah, if there's some juice to it, share it.
Yeah, enlighten us, because, I mean, listen, we're all about, learning that. Farmer says this, and Tony says this, that you're right on with the blow-throughs right there.
Yeah, I learned it on a guide trip.
With Kevin?
No, with Jeff Nail.
Okay, with Jeff. All right,
Yeah.
Jeff's a good guy out there. So,
That's what we were catching fish at Big Cedar Creek off Brushy. It was a blow-through.
It's a blow-through?
Yeah, it wasn't a cut. It actually went around a little island, but it got up to like 6-8 inches of water out in the middle of it.
Hey, pull up, go up, Cranking Yank. It says see previous comments. So go up to this one before that, right there. Okay, Brad. Try the first generation introvert plastic double clacker buzz bait.
Okay,
Plastic prop usually runs much slower.
It's not as heavy.
So he's going back to what is the slowest buzz bait. And so the plastic prop,
slower, more buoyancy.
Okay. Hey, listen. Hey, I get it. What are you yawning for?
I can see the
Dude, I've
mechanics.
been working my butt off.
Do you work? You got, yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. Let's see. So Blitzum says seen plastic blades, but never used it. Curious also. And yeah, so Tony, that's what we figured out. So so the plastic slows it down. Oh, now let me ask you this, Crankin. Do you put the exact same size or do you go bigger? Just curious right there. And so totally everybody's talking about the weight on it. So now Blitzum's got a good question. Now, how do those plastic blades hold up after bites? Now, when we're talking about getting trashed with the accent, it's not so much the blade, it's the wire that gets really trashed. But
I'm curious about the sound it makes too, because I throw a buzz bait because they're noisy.
It don't squeal.
No, it's not
you're
going
not
to
going to get
squeal.
the plastic to squeal.
Right.
It's going to plop, plop, and bubble, bubble, but it ain't going to squeal.
Now, Crankins done got me thinking about that now. But like you modify your buzz baits. We've talked about this on the show for guys that may not have watched us back during the day.
Yeah.
Kind of tell everybody how you modify yours a little bit.
So what I do, I throw the Lunka lure is the only one I have. I modify it like the G-Man's buzz bait. That was a secret for years, how you put the bend in it to go up. I do that. I crimp the little rivet on there so it can't spin. And then I turn the rivet up in 3 or 4 places. It's got a bigger flat spot on top. I turn it up. And basically what I do is when I pull it out, when I do all that to it, I don't throw one with a skirt on it. I use a Z-crawl or a swim bait. But once I tweak it out like I want it, it sounds like it's already broken in. So guys used to take, hang them on their antennas. I've done that too. And you're trying to wear it out a little bit. I can do that and it sound right on the first cast.
Yeah.
So I don't have to, half wear a buzz bait out and get 3 fish out of it, break. I can make it sound like that with a good wire. It lasts a lot longer. And like I said, it starts that way coming out of the pack.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Farmer's got a good point right there. This was something I was getting ready to bring up.
Yep.
You can also slow a buzz bait down with the size of the plastic, like going a Z-Crawl Junior to a horny toad will help you keep the buzz bait up at slower speeds, which is actually kind of going off of what you're talking about with the D-bomb. You use that D-bomb on your wobble to keep it down because it's not as much buoyancy.
Right.
Guys put the other thing on when they're reeling it pulls it up off the bottom. So it's kind of like the same premise.
Yeah, once they get their speed.
Yeah.
I mean, any kind of critter bait's going to work on there, but if it's got too much plastic and too much paddle on it, it's just going to fly.
Which is now you want to keep yours down, so you go with less plastic. But Farmer's saying, hey, on your buzz bait, more plastic keeps it up. You can reel it slower.
And a horny toad, if you look at it, it's almost like the bow of a boat, the way the toad's made. So it's climbing up on the water.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Silver says, I think Accent is the only double-bladed buzzbait with the floats still made. And it might be. I haven't looked because I do throw it, and that is one thing, too. Those floats really get it up quick.
On that.
Cranking and yanking. Metal makes a clack-clack sound, and plastic makes a bubble-bubble sound. Different for sure. So metal to metal, bubble to bubble. So he's wanting more of that. Yeah. I get what he's saying.
I don't throw a clacker on mine.
No, you don't. You just use
I bend the wire down so that it actually every 10th or so revolution, it actually hits the main wire. And then it'll keep going again.
Listen, making me spend some money tonight. Order incoming, Jimmy Braswell says. Now, Easton Stanley, he got a little smart ass in him right here. Appreciate you joining us, Sniper. Pull that comment up right there.
I was wondering who was going to do it first.
A plastic buzz bait is basically the same as throwing Danny's favorite lure, a whopper plopper. I get what you're saying right there. So, again, though, if you go to the whopper plopper, based upon what Cranking and Yankin's saying, it's getting that bubble, bubble, bubble sound. Mm-hmm. Whatever the hell, however you can. If Ryan was here, Ryan does all the noises and all that. But I get what he's saying. So, yay, listen, you're right. Easton, appreciate you joining us tonight right there. Far Dog, take that new Buckeye G-Buzz and put a larger blade, and you can reel it slow as you want. Hint, I like putting War Eagle blades on mine. Okay, makes sense. Warren Barnes says you can also speed or slow a buzz bait by adjusting the bend in the blade.
Yep.
Now, have you ever – okay, now we're tinkering right here now. We're doing a lot of tinkering tonight. Have you ever bent the blade, and if so, why? And that's for any of you guys.
I don't on the local lure. I don't have to.
Because you get the sound you want.
I get the sound I want, and the hook is absolutely brutal on that buzz bait. I mean, and he gets it. Like I said, I watched the thing in the tank too with Wheeler. He was throwing a buzz bait when he came out with Accent because he designed it, and he was talking about skirts and plastics and all the stuff. And he'll throw like a skirt with plastic, but they just hold on to the plastic a whole lot better. Like they'll bite the plastic and swim off with it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You ever mess with your blades on a buzz bait?
Anytime I've ever tried to bend something, it usually ruined it. So, so I'm going to say no on that.
Yes.
I might go to somebody I know or a friend and go, here, tune this up for me.
Yeah, I suck at it.
Yeah.
No. Hey, you know how we were playing with making spinner baits the other day?
Mm-hmm.
I got some buzz bait wire and all that.
The next day I come up, we'll tweak on
I got to check and see if I got any blades though. I don't know if I do. We'll steal some off of Georgia Blade. Huh? What are you laughing at? I mean, I already paid for it. I own it, so we can.
Oh, okay. I was wow.
No. I wasn't saying nothing against the Georgia Blade. It's a great buzz bait. I'm just saying.
I didn't see any buzz bait blades. I saw plenty of spinnerbait blades somewhere in the box.
Tony says I'm in for making buzz baits. I might have to buy some of those blades. But what I was just saying is, if we wanted to tinker, I got a product or two here that we could take and steal components from, is what I was saying. Yeah. Alex, you ever been, you seem like a tinkerer to me. I don't mess with my buzz baits at all.
Not a tuner, huh?
No,
You're not a tuner?
no, they're pretty noisy out of the package.
Are you like us, though, and then you find that if you do stuff like that, you screw it up?
Sometimes it depends on what it is. Sometimes I just got to figure it out, and then I'm good at it.
Anything that's made to run true and right, I don't need to touch.
Me either.
Maybe a little minor adjustments, but I don't need to touch. That some bitch be going like horizontal or whatever you want to say at a 90-degree angle. I did say I saw Farmer. He said, and you ain't got to pull it down, but something about taking a 1/4 ounce buzz bait, but putting a 1/2 ounce blade on it, and that will slow it down even more. So that's some good things. Now, Cranking and Yanking says, am I the only one that has a problem with the whopper plopper spinning in the water? I like the Chapo better. I don't like either
I've
one.
only
You
thrown
got to
the
put a
Chapo.
swivel on the front of the darn things, or they're not going to work. Or they're just going to twist up everything.
The Chapo or not, or the
Plopper.
the plopper, the original.
Yeah.
Now, I've noticed that on the smaller sizes. You ain't never seen them just start
It'll twist
spinning?
the fool out. Yeah,
No.
pick it up one day and watch
Oh,
it.
hell
Watch
yeah.
it just unravel your line.
I
You
throw
don't see
I
it.
throw it on straight braids. I don't even.
You
I
don't-
never
you ain't
see
worried
it.
about
You ain't
line
worried about
twisting
that.
like
Yeah, if
that.
you're using fluoro or mono, you won't even see it. You think it's running just right. You never realize that the body's twisting sometimes. And you'll pull that thing up, and it's just sitting there unwinding your line,
Yeah.
which is stressing your line, which is going to cause issues when you swing.
Fish Lab quad blades or the Picasso Squeaky Riot. Ron says like that. So ain't Picasso? Let's see. Ain't Picasso the one that rusts their wire?
Rusted rivet.
They rust
Rust
the
the
rivet,
rivets,
which
yeah.
is basically what you're doing without rusting it, right? You're getting the squeak
I'm
and all
getting
that.
Squeak without doing all that.
Then you pull off one Falcon shirt to another. Look at you. I bet you got Falcon Rod underwear.
They don't make them.
But
If they did, he'd be sporting them
you'd
tonight,
have
by
them.
God.
I checked the apparel section.
If they did, you'd have them.
I would.
There's no doubt in my mind that he would have Falcon Rod underwear.
Hey, they work.
Would you get the thong?
No.
All the advertisement would be in the front. You realize that. You
Yeah,
got
I
the
know
thong
that.
right there.
Thong, man panties, or drawers.
Falcon, think about that on a thong. Falcon Rod right in the front.
Yeah.
Mm,
Your Falcon.
That'd be using the kitty stick.
the kitty stick.
Yeah, did they make a child's version right there?
Back to our comments.
Back to the comments.
Craftmaster said, "Farmer, delete your post." Farmer, what'd you do? We missed something?
Probably that 1/4 ounce buzz bait with a 1/2 ounce.
Sorry,
blade on it
we
right
just
there.
put that back up
And
there.
that's
My
what-
bad.
That's what Swindle did. His has got an oversized blade on it, so he can really slower.
Now look at Tim right there at the bottom, Tim White. A Georgia Blade buzzbait. And again, I was not knocking Georgia Blade products. I was just saying we could steal one of the blades off of them since I have paid for them. A Georgia Blade buzzbait with the swindle bend, which is what you're talking about, and a horny toad is one bad rig. Now, a lot of guys like putting that horny toad on a buzzbait.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't. I know you don't.
I won't put one on.
I know you won't. But that swindle bend helps keep that kind of what you did.
It gets it down in the water.
Gets it down in the water, so when the fish hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing, a buzz bait, a lot of times the hook will be on this angle, and it gets it down a little bit where you can actually, he doesn't have to come over the top of it to get it.
Yeah.
It straightens that hook angle out.
We've talked about that before. That's why you started messing with that. That's why you like it, because you throw the whatever the swim bait or whatever the hell it is
I
you throw.
throw either swim bait or Z-crawl 99% of the time.
I saw somebody up there. Now David Weaver says, "Is that going in the summer calendar?" Yeah, we need to do that. We still got to do that. Get all the fat guys in fishing, but we need you. We'll get a Falcon Rod thong made.
No, we won't.
Are you not going to be a team player?
Speedo?
Not for that. No.
Boxers.
Are you insecure?
No, but I'm not going to do that.
You know, if I wore one of those, there wouldn't be no like the A in Falcon would just be like pointing out.
Right.
I
Yeah.
had the pokey.
Yeah. Well, see, we're not going to have to print too many calendars because it was said when we concocted this idea that people would pay us not to send them one.
Probably
So,
so.
yeah.
We were going to do it as a benefit because remember Stephen Barday, we're going to have him as a centerfold. And he said I want to hit because back then he was bigger than what he is now. He's
Yeah.
lost a lot of weight, but he said it would take 2 thongs to cover. And I'm like, you're full of
Yeah.
shit right there. But
Both
anyway,
pages.
now I'm going to get the Far Dogs question, but there was one earlier, and I'm sorry, I forget who put it. What's the most overrated spring into the spawn bait? I believe that was a question. What's something you see people do that you're like, that's dumb as hell? Or you ain't going to catch no fish? Like, what would you absolutely just think? You got to be an idiot for throwing that right now.
Why does he ask me the hard question?
Because I'm looking at you because you won't wear a thong for us. So I'm gonna
I want a swim bait rigged upside down.
a swim bait rigged
I
upside
swim
had
down.
a guy do that.
Really?
Yes.
A swim bait upside down.
Yep.
Just by
I think
itself.
that's probably, if I had to say if there's anything wrong in fishing, that would be wrong, because there's not a lot of rights and wrongs.
That's
Right,
true. You're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
You're right.
But he's like, I don't understand. I finally says, give me a swim bait, like a rigged upside.
Yeah.
He's been throwing about 3 hours.
Turn it
Was he
the
throwing
other
like
way.
a kite, like a paddle,
Yeah,
a paddle
it was
tail
rigged
upside down? Well, it happens.
The bass were like, "There's something wrong with that, don't
Yeah,
you?"
like
Yeah,
He's sick.
like
yeah, he's
that,
sick. Don't eat that.
That's a COVID fish right there, or
COVID,
something like that. Now, it's been well documented that I have turned a spinning rod upside down, but that's only like in the moment. We were fishing at Latham last year in a tournament over there for Electric Bass Open. Here come this old cat back there, and he was purposefully casting like a rattle trap or something, but he had his spinning rod upside down the entire time, reeling it. Like that's the way. I guess that's the way he learned to throw it. But that's how that joker was throwing it the entire time. You ever seen something like that?
No,
Yeah. What would be your overrated bait? Spring spawn overrated bait or technique?
mine's more of a color,
All right. What's the color?
red.
You think red's overrated in
It's
this
bad.
time of year
I think, yeah. Period.
because we're coming out of the red.
Mhm.
We need to switch over to shad.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense.
yeah. Like I said earlier, if the water's like in the 50s, yeah, you might get by with some red. When it gets warmer, start throwing shad.
Okay. What about you, Alex? What are you grinning for? Huh? What are you grinning? Put the camera on you. Don't put it on me. You're grinning.
I don't have
You don't have an overrated bait?
not really. I mean, it's same as Tim, more of a color. Fire tiger.
You don't like fire tiger.
Don't like fire tiger.
They don't bite it here like they do back where I came from.
But we were talking last week about a bunch of fish were spitting up perch on Lanier.
Yep.
You take it to
They
East
were.
Texas, you better throw fire tiger a little bit. They eat it over there.
Yeah.
But here, not
Now
so
going
much.
overall,
I
it is
haven't
going
caught
to
'em
depend
here.
on the body of water you're fishing too. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
I took a red bait and pulled it through mud, the muddy water, and be like, you can't see it. You take one that's shad and you see the flicker even in the nasty waters, so you got visibility.
Okay.
Now clear water, that might be a different scenario.
Okay. Far Dog wants to know what's y'all's favorite hollow-bodied frogs during the spawn. You even throw a hollow-bottomed. God almighty shit! I gotta change my dip out.
Hollow bodied frog.
Listen, I
Gotcha.
done lost the flavor in my Copenhagen. I've had it in a while, so
Yeah.
answer this while I switch
Yes,
up.
sir. I like that that popping frog. That's my go-to. Like I said, from now till the brim starts falling.
Keep talking.
That's the best one I got.
He's not done yet.
No,
Mhm.
no.
I like the frog from Tactical
Oh,
Fishing
it
Company.
also, it was you. Okay.
Whoa,
Oh,
magic.
Tactical Fishing Company's got a frog too.
No.
And it's,
Oh, really? And I bet they got a code that they can
Yeah,
save.
that
How much
code
could
for
they
that?
save, and what is the code?
they could save 10%.
What do they got to type in?
Oh, my name. My name, Alex.
I love you. I love you.
You're discombobulating him so bad right there.
Like all
I'm just
you
glad
fish-
it's not me.
Between you guys that are here every Tuesday and Thursday night in the comment section, like this is like the best job in the freaking world, other than I guess being an adult film star.
This would probably be
I
better.
guess we should stick with fishing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some midget porn.
Midget porn?
Yeah, little people
Oh,
porn.
Little
God.
people.
Huh? I just said that for you. I'm gonna keep doing this till you wear that thong, falcon rod thong. Can we get one made?
I'm sure we can.
All right, we gotta find somebody that will make us one. What size you wear?
Medium husky.
Medium husky.
Husky.
There we go. Brian Marcuson says upside down as a trailer on a ChatterBait.
I still can't do it.
What do you mean?
Turn a swim bait upside down, I guess is what he's talking about.
No, what would be the reasoning for that?
Unless he turns it, somebody was mentioning a while back, turn it on its side. So it swims like it has like a brim tail, like if you
Right.
took a beaver and turned it sideways. I actually, my ChatterBait trailer's a easy shiner or a freeloader.
So you don't throw now. Is he talking about when he says upside down? I mean, a lot of guys I've seen that. Is this a mistake? Because I think it is. A paddle tail in the back of a ChatterBait.
No, that's what I.
But why-
Shiner's got
okay,
They're
about
talking
it.
about turning it upside down
No,
so the
but-
paddle's up.
But here's my question: why a paddle tail? Because wouldn't that work against the action of the chatterbait?
Mm-mm. Not a jackhammer.
Well, okay. For those of us that can't afford the
There's your-
jackhammers,
I'm
There's your
still throwing the same one.
listen, if you're gonna buy one, just don't buy that. Listen, I got a ton of Berkeley slobber knockers. If you guys come up here and get it, I'll cut you a hellacious deal.
You heard it here.
I'm like, I'll give you 50% off if you come in the store. I'll give you it's like cost. I will give you those jackhammers. I mean, not jack. No, hell no. Those slobber knockers.
Slobber knockers.
It's not that they're bad. It's just everybody wants a jackhammer.
Tim
If-
White says upside down will keep it from rising.
Yeah, same
Yep.
farmer.
Yeah.
Now, what are we talking about? Upside down
Upside
Not
down.
putting a
boot tail
Kitech
on a-
upside
on
down.
the
on a chatterbait.
on a chatterbait.
Yeah.
We're on a chatterbait like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, listen, makes sense to me. Boot tail doesn't go up into the blade. I'll pull that back up. I'm gonna quit doing that. Boot tail doesn't go up into the blade wake as bad if you rig it upside down. Talking about the chatterbait again. I get that. So slobber knockers are like $5 at Bass Pro right now. Hell, I'll sell them to you for $5. Come get them. Brian says it has to do with the water coming over the blade and it keeps it deeper like that. So we're talking now, everybody, we're on this chatterbait thing.
Yeah.
So that's what everybody's talking about. That seems like places are unloading them. The problem is it's not a terrible bait. It really isn't. But if you're going to pay premium money and it's like $1 cheaper than a jackhammer, people are just going to buy the jackhammer.
Right.
So I get it.
I'm not throwing it. I know this. When that jackhammer, when it's falling, it's shimmying already. It starts as soon as it hits the water.
Yeah.
That's why I throw it.
Now, do you get into any of the new jackhammer blades that they're coming out with? Like they got that clear one.
I do have some stealth blades. If I throw a jackhammer on the air, I usually throw a stealth.
Now you're doing that in clear water, then I'm
Clear
assuming.
water.
So, what about you, Alex? Because you're the chatterbait guy on Lanier.
Oh, it's not really technically a chatterbait. It's a bladed jig, but it's called the brigade blade.
Oh yeah, we have to do that.
And
it's
got like a shell on it, kind of that oscillates back and forth, and then it's got a small willow leaf that hangs over the back of it,
Oh,
and
it's
it's
got some accessories.
pretty cool.
Okay,
it's
I got
pretty
that. What about
nice.
you? You throw a jackhammer?
No, I can't afford that.
I know it.
No, I've got a couple of them, but yeah.
But have you ever
they're
tried?
different?
But I know you fish dirty water a lot,
Mhm.
so you have really no reason to go with the clear blade.
No.
Okay, so you got, let's see, Fishing with Farmer says jackhammer or bust. The big blade is overlooked. Now, what about that? We're talking about damn chatterbaits now. That's the way the show goes. So you just use a regular blade. You don't do any modifications
Regular
on
blade,
yours.
half ounce.
Regular blade, half ounce.
If I want to fish it if shallower, I put a swim bait on the back. If I wanted to go a little deeper, put a freeloader on the back.
Okay,
That's about as much as I can think.
you don't make it complicated.
Nope.
But on
You've
Lanier,
seen me.
yeah, I know it. I'm trying to make
I
you
got about
I'm-
three
listen,
colors of my whole boat.
I know I'm trying to make you more complicated than I know you are tonight. But let me ask you this: since you do use the clear blade,
Yep.
what size blade comes on the clear ones? Do they make them in big or small? Does it
It's
matter?
About the same size and maybe a shake smaller, but it's still a half ounce.
But you like the half ounce. You're going with a half ounce no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
You
It's
as
like
well.
it's like taking the half ounce and what is it, the mini max?
Yeah.
It's still a half ounce, but it's got a smaller blade. Just you can burn it quicker.
Yeah.
Keep it down.
Okay, that makes sense. Silverpunk says the new baby jackhammer looks good. I actually had to order for a guy, and we're talking. I didn't even know they made them, and then we went through Pittman Creek, the distributor. We're talking like these micro size chatterbaits that they make. I mean, they were like really small.
Oh yeah, they make some small ones.
Yeah, and he wanted them, and I forget the weights, but I mean they were like light.
Yeah.
So I don't know where he was throwing them, but
I picked up some of those Evos to try out.
That's what he was talking. I
You
saw
like
that in a
those?
comment. Where was that at? Yeah, let's see.
I heard it's a good one.
Yeah, the
Brad
tungsten
Silver's out
Evo.
there. Yeah, the new tungsten Evo is really close, if not the exact same as a jackhammer. I'll have to try that. So I mean,
Yeah.
is that the same company? Ain't it?
They
Who makes the tungsten Evo?
That's same company.
It's the same company. It's just a different style.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
a little
Z-Man.
bit different.
Yes, Z-Man. You know what we need to do? We'll have to do a comparison video.
Yeah.
We need to bring out the tank again.
Yeah, we need a tank.
You weren't here. We got a tank downstairs.
Let's get it up.
So what we need to do is we can get some kind of blower or something, or a little something to move the current in that tank, and we'll just drop them down in there and check it. We did it one time, but we were doing it with drop shots to see which worms floated and everything. I bet you we can figure out a way to move some current in that tank. Yeah. It's a fish tank. I mean, it's a good size one. How much current would we need?
Not a lot.
Not much.
We're gonna do that in an episode or two. We'll do that, and we'll you guys can bring your own, so I ain't got to daggum open every pack in the shop. Bring a jackhammer. Hell, I got a slobber knocker. We'll compare them things.
Oh yeah.
We'll see how quick the blades turn and do that. We'll set up a camera right on the thing so we can do that.
Sure.
Okay, I think that would be pretty cool. We'll do that. Big blade will give a harder hunting action, it seems, on the water with Rod and Jesus.
Yeah, more resistance.
Yeah. Who sells the Brigade blade? John G. Wilson wants to know. And Tony Collum says Battle Baits.
Battle Bait.
You want to go ahead and do a plug for them?
I can't. Everything's sold out. He can't keep anything in stock on the website right now.
Which means that's good stuff.
Yeah. Every time he releases stuff, it's sold out in less than 10 minutes.
That's awesome right there. Farmer says, oh, look at David Weaver. Jimmy Broswell says there's a baby Evo coming. I like that. And then David Weaver says they work pretty good trout fishing in the hooch. I bet you those big ass browns and rainbows would slam a chatterbait.
Mm-hmm.
You ever done that? Fishing the river with? I bet they would. Farmer says the Evos come in colors the jackhammer doesn't offer. There you go. But now, of course, you can just pull the skirt off and we can match a skirt. We'll tie a skirt up for you like that. Let's see. So Silver Punk's going to start making his own chatterbaits. Now, basically, listen. If we're being honest, you can take any jig out there. Doesn't matter the head. And all you got to do is put that swivel and the blade on it, and then all of a sudden you got you a chatterbait. But you can't call it a chatterbait because of patent.
Yeah, you've got a
just
bladed
like what you
jig.
said. You have a bladed jig.
Bladed jig.
I got an absolute ton of those things. We need to play with those at some point. What's the tips to keeping chatterbait out of wood?
Don't throw it in wood.
There we go. But now chatterbaits do hang up a lot in wood.
They do, and a lot of people. There's so many videos people telling you, put a flat side critter bait on the back of it so it rolls. I don't know if there's a lot of percentage of that going to work.
What about you? What do you think?
I don't know. It just they don't come through wood that great. That's just part of it.
What's a big ass hook? Number one.
That's where you need spinnerbait.
Now, I think Spro? I got double checked. Didn't they just come out with the chatterbait style bait that's designed to go over wood?
It's got a wobble head on it.
It's got the wobble head on it a little bit, but it's designed more for. I need to get them to send me some of that. We'll do that. And David Weaver says throw a spinnerbait.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're in wood, wood, pick you a spinnerbait of choice and sling it right in there.
Yeah. Farmer says Brad, don't throw it in wood, but all seriousness, they make some weedless ones, but they're not as great.
No.
And Kevin Thornton says Dave would wear shaky head underwear.
Got that finesse
fish on
worm.
the bed, got him going.
One little fish. He's been sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
He's been waiting to make that comment right there. You know what I said one day? We were going to do this show naked.
Oh God.
Yeah, that was back when Ryan
Make it
was
a
there.
Thursday.
Ryan wouldn't do it. I'm like, Ryan, you're 6'7", dude. Come on. You ain't gonna be embarrassed by nothing. Here I am, 5'7". I'll do the show naked. And he's like, we'll do it for charity. Yeah. Would you do a naked show for charity?
No.
I wouldn't either. Really go. With a big blade though on a chatterbait, make it come through wood better.
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't think so either. I would get into maybe something flat like a Z-Crawl or something on the back.
Give it a little more buoyancy to try
just
to get
to
it up.
keep it from rolling, because that's the thing. When it hits something, it wants to roll on the side.
Yeah, the blade's going to come on over, and then it's going to turn.
Yeah. Farmer says he ain't watching that week. Hell, dude, you're going to be on the show.
Yeah, you're going to be watching because you're going to be looking at a monitor in front of you.
If your wife will let you, you got to check with the boss. You got to do that first. But I bet you, I bet you she'd let him. Silver Punk says Jackall makes a bladed jig with weed guards on top and a wire on the bottom to help it roll over wood, called the brake blade. All right, there you guys go. So Jackall makes it. I don't know. I'm sure it's good quality. Jackall makes it. Tracy Coker, what's going on, buddy? The cross-eyed chatterbait does okay through wood, but it will still hang even with the weed guards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got those two little ant filler weed guards coming out of the top.
So as David Weaver, though, said, throw a spinnerbait.
Yeah.
Throw a spinnerbait like that. Now, I'm still curious though, because I totally get why you would throw a chatterbait up in Brushy. It gets nasty up there a little bit.
Yeah.
I can see you throwing it at Gunnersville. It's the guys that throw it on Lanier a lot, because you throw it a lot, Alex. You like it over there.
I really like it around schooling fish.
You ever throw the jackhammer or anything at schooling fish?
No.
Is that because you can keep it up in the water column if you want? Or, I mean, why? Why? Put the camera on you. Put the camera on you and explain to us why you throw.
Well, because one day I was out there and they started schooling around me, and that was the rod that I had closest available.
So you just Hail Married it to them.
Every single time I threw it out there, I caught a fish for about 45 minutes.
They were just hungry. But I know what you're saying.
And now, if I see them blowing up, and I've got it right there, I'll throw it because I think.
Oh yeah, that vibration.
Well, you got confidence in it too.
Now I do, yeah.
And it does. I mean, you know, I can see it being like a flea and shad. Now, Chris Wallace, this is going off what I said. Spro makes the new Spro cover jumper. I'll get Steven to send me a couple of those and we'll show it. Farmer says, I love a chatterbait right now on any lake. It's pre-spawn. It's a big fish bait.
I'll fish it like a jig too. I'll drag it on the bottom.
Yeah, now that I've heard people do.
You can drag it, hop it.
I've seen elite guys do it, not talked about a lot though, and I think you might be talking about schooling fish. And David Weaver says schooling fish topwater never leaves my hand. But I can see that. Plus, it's got enough weight for you to get it out there too.
Mm-hmm. You can get it out there and get it down. I've swam them over brush piles and got hit, but you're gambling at that point because you don't want to let it get down in there.
Yeah, no, that
we worm it just like we do a trap at Gunnersville. Well, I take a chatterbait and just worm it through there like you're fishing a worm.
Just
all of a sudden it'll swim off.
Slow yo-yo it.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I mean, would you probably have caught that fish on a jig?
Maybe. But here's the thing, a jig's gonna probably hang up worse. Where I can get that chatterbait to pop itself out and go kicking again.
Okay.
Talking about out of the grass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone thrown the Spro Zero Swimmer? Thoughts? I've got a couple coming. Now, the Zero Swimmer, the guys that I know that throw it, and this is Lanier guys that I've talked to, they'll chunk that thing out over a point or something, and they just reel it very slow, and it just kind of, it's like a wake bait almost like that. You ever throwed one?
Mm-mm. I never even heard of it.
Now, John Aldred, he might bust me for saying this. John, if you're still listening, I'm sorry. He reels it fast and gets it down about 1.5 feet under the water and runs it like a crankbait. Now, you ever thrown the 0 minute?
Is that the one that he's been throwing?
Huh?
Is that the one that he's been throwing? It's got like wings off on the side of it.
That is a new Spro bait, but
Okay.
I forget which one it's about. No, so a 0 minute. I mean, it's just a big old. It looks like a McStick, just bigger, but the lip on it's a little bit different, and it's not a jerk bait. It's more made for like a wake style bait.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it has more of a hunting.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
More
I mean,
of a
it's not-
swimming
it's not-
session.
Yeah, it's more like a tighter wobble, but it's the guys that I know that throw it, they just reel it really slow. Other than John, he reels it fast and he gets it down. But he's also fishing. He'll fish that bait in shallow, nasty water.
Yeah,
because he likes throwing big swim baits and
Mhm.
everything. But he has caught some big largemouth on a Spro 0 minute that's designed to.
That water's loaded up with reeds and stuff too.
Yeah, and he will rip it through there like that.
yeah. I threw that McDart the other day a little bit, just playing with it. It darts. That's for sure.
Did you like the
I like
McDart?
it.
Did you catch any fish on it?
I didn't really target fish with it, but I had it and I thought, I'm gonna see what this thing looks like while I had some decent water to look at it, and it darts.
I'm gonna throw it this week.
Oh, okay. Whoop, sorry. I misread Brad Silver's comment. I'm talking about the 0 minnow. That's the hard bait. He's talking about the 0 swimmer. No, okay. I apologize, guys, on that. It is like a redfin, Craftmaster said. I was trying to think that in my mind. But Brad, no, I have not thrown the 0 swimmer. And but Ken says fish it like a redfin and create the V wake behind the bait. And that's if we're talking about the 0 minnow. He's talking about the 0 swimmer. So no, Brad, I have not thrown it. It's jointed. It's jointed like the sashimi shad.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I see what he's saying. But I guess it being a 0 minnow, it probably doesn't sink. So you're looking more. You have to explain that to us a little bit. I have not thrown it, Brad, but
I
I
think
know
it's
what
more
you're
like a
saying now.
wake bait that's got a lot
The hunting.
more.
Now
the
that
hunting
would have
action.
more of the hunting action.
Yeah.
Now, I love the sashimi.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like the sashimi?
I've not thrown it.
Do you throw anything like the magic swimmers, anything like that? So it's basically Spro's version of the magic swimmer, but I think it's got one more joint or one less, something like that.
I think it has one
I
more.
do throw the magic swimmer.
You do throw the magic swimmer. The only thing with the sashimi compared to the magic swimmer is it's a little bit lighter, or not so much
It's
lighter.
smaller. It's shorter.
The weight's the same, but that extra joint kind of helps it catch a little bit of the wind. So I guess you have to kind of.
Yeah, it will fly.
It will fly
off.
Yeah, a lot of them will do that. But I'm sorry, Brad. I honestly thought you were talking about the Zero Minnow. But so anyway, so you know what I just did? I just gave up John Aldridge's juice. And we're talking about the wrong bait. He's going to kill me next time he comes up here. Are you looking up that Spro bait that he uses?
The Spro Zero Swimmer 100 wake bait.
It is a wake bait.
Wake bait.
Yeah.
And what's it look like?
It looks like a sashimi with a bill on the front of
A
it.
sashimi with a bill. Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
I think it's got a little short lip
It
that
sticks
just kind of
straight
almost
down.
sticks down,
Yep.
maybe 30 degrees, something like that.
Okay, all right. I can see where that would work for sure, though. That's going to be a dang good bait. Come up the herring spawn and all
The
that.
sashimi will draw fish. Sometimes cooler water. I went out
Yeah.
when I first got one,
Yeah.
and you would see dark submarines following it back off the bank that you didn't even know were there, and they would watch it.
I might have to
Turn
put some
and
of
go
these on
back.
my next order.
Look at Helly's up back there ordering. What is that? David Weaver says you definitely need a weight strip and lead wire a little bit. And I guess he's talking about on that sashimi to get it out there a little bit. But it's a great bait.
Kind of slow, yeah.
But it is a great bait. But I would imagine that Zero Swimmer, he's talking about probably a little more buoyant and giving you that extra with that little lip right there. So it'll be interesting to see what you think about that. When you get them, Brad, and you throw it a little bit, let us know what you think about them. Jason Jones says the jerkbait has been smoking on tuna since the 1st of February. 2 weeks ago, completely died. It's okay because we go alts,
Yeah,
I guess.
Deshaun's been sticking them on the jerkbait.
Mm.
On a jerkbait?
Oh yeah.
So how much of this pre-spawn going into the spawn? How much do you use a jerkbait during the spawn, if any at all?
I throw jerkbait all year.
You throw it all year.
Yeah, I like jerkbait.
What about you?
I do. It's on the deck most of the time.
Yeah, you can go year round.
I'm getting
with
more and
those.
more confident with it this year.
Yeah, you can go year round with a jerkbait.
When and where do you throw a magic swimmer and the sashimi? Right. So really it's on the near, and you correct me if I'm wrong, mostly post spawn going into the herring spawn, and then all summer over brush piles calling them up.
And in the fall too.
And in the fall.
Yeah.
So it's late spring, summer, early fall.
Yep.
If you got a submerged lay down, swim it over the top of it or down to the side of it.
I'll run around and chase busting fish with it too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now I do know a lot of guys, because you're talking about blow throughs earlier. So a lot of herring, when they spawn, blow throughs are a real popular place for them to spawn. And it's like the very first, I was throwing a Seville, the very first Seville fish I ever got. Ryan took me out there in the boat, and that's what we were targeting, was a blow through specifically. And the herring hadn't spawned there yet, but the spots were there.
Mm-hmm.
They were there waiting. I think they know, it's getting ready to happen. I'm sure the herring are in the area. But going through those blow throughs like you were talking about, that's when that sashimi and the magic swim, they shine. And then all summer, guys are throwing them, over brush piles, calling them up, and they're burning the hell out of it.
Well, a lot of those blow-throughs, too, is the same kind of stuff that the spot spawn on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of the places, I got 7 or 8 places that when they spawn, they're there. And almost every one of them got some sort of blow-through around it. It's just that certain water, that slope of the bank and the right bottom composition.
Yeah, and I think if you look at a blow through too, it almost has a natural
It
pocket.
does.
It makes a natural pocket.
And when the water, like Alex said, he likes it shallow. When the water goes down, the first time I ever saw a herring spawn is the water was low, and they had pushed them up in there, went nowhere from to go. So it was about 6 inches of water on the blow through. So when the spots ate them on this side, they went through the other side. Then the water erupted over there. There was another group of spots on that side. So they had them hemmed up in there.
Yeah, I've seen that. And it can be it can be fast and furious fishing.
Oh, it's stupid.
And you can throw a Seville in there. You can throw
Fluke, top water,
underspin, you name it. If you get it in there when that's going on, those fish, if they're feeding, because like a herring spawn normally happens heavy first thing in the morning, right there at daylight. If you're in that area when one of those is happening, Hell, you probably could throw a booger on a hook
Yeah,
and you'll catch a fish.
beer tab.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I got some stories, but I'm going to save them for a later date. Farmer says, then we're talking again about the Seville style baits. Blow-throughs, flats, and around marina breaker walls are big.
Mm-hmm.
David Weaver says, throw the Seville post-spawn out in front of creeks and count them down on flats near deeper water. Now, that's something a lot of people don't talk about is counting down a Seville style bait, letting it sink, because they do make a fast sink and a slow sink, but most everybody, I think, throws the fast sink because you're reeling it. But counting that thing down a little bit, and I bet with forward-facing sonar, it's probably probably fun to watch some things hammer that joker.
Yeah. If they're aggressive, they'll come up and eat it.
They call them magic swimmers. They do, yeah. So Berkeley bought out Seville, changed the name to Magic Swimmer. And there's always this big controversy if they changed it or not. And you got the guys that say the old style Sevilles work better than the new style Magic Swimmers. And all
I
that.
still got 5 chrome Sevilles.
I got a shit ton of them. I got them like that. But, I mean, I really only throw it in specific times, kind of like that, if you're on a herring spawn or something. But you really can throw it all summer long. Go out on Latham and burn it, just kind of like what he was saying about that episode when the spots come up. Yeah, they'll hammer it. David said, don't know what forward-facing thing is. Me neither, buddy. I ain't got one. I ain't got David money. I might one of these days. Who has S-bills in stock now?
GTO.
GTO. Tell everybody what an S-bill is for those that don't know.
I guess a square bill, isn't it?
Hell, I ain't got a clue.
That's what I thought he was talking about.
That's what I would.
All of
square
GTO,
bills.
they got everything you can imagine.
I will say this. It is a dang
That's a hell of a tackle
good
store.
store.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I didn't realize it's this late.
Yeah, we've
Farmer's
been
got to go
rolling.
get Farmer. You need a lot more than 8 hours for beauty rest right there.
Yeah.
Jason Jones says, no way. I didn't know Burke acquired them. Dang. So, yeah, which Berkeley's owned by Pure Fishing now, but Berkeley bought out Seville and repackaged them. That's why they're called the Magic Swimmer now. So, all right, guys, listen, hey, with that, again, a couple things before we go. Thursday night, if you were in the Alpharetta area, or even if you're not, and you want to come out there, come hang with us at Cherry. O'Brien said he thinks he meant Seville's. I got some Magic Swimmers here at the shop. I'll put them back online and everything. So, but Thursday night, pull that thing up real quick. 5:30 to 8:30 at Cherry Street Brewing in Alpharetta. Fishing Industry Night. If you know a guide, tell them about it. And even if you're not a guide, we want you guys to come out and hang. It's going to be a good 3 hours of networking. We're going to show some videos. A couple of us will be on the mic for a little bit. There's an open bar. Again, I want you guys to come out and get sloshed because I don't want to have to drive all you guys home. I ain't got that kind of capability. But come out, have a beer or two, have some fun with us and hang and just network and just, hey, shoot the shit with us for a little while. So Digital Sportsman is the one providing that open bar. But Jason Jones on the Sevilles, the Magic Swimmers, I've got them. I don't know about any other stores, but I'm sure any of your finer tackle shops will have them in stock right now. So, Dave, I'm glad you got to come back. Been in Maryland, been away for a little while, and
Good to be back up here anyway.
Good to be back in Georgia, good old Georgia / Alabama, wherever the hell you stay. Lay your head.
We're gonna go to Alabama this weekend and look it up.
Got to go.
Gotta go.
Get your fix on.
He's hiding from Kevin.
He is hiding from
Yeah,
Kevin.
he's on
You
the
gotta
lam.
hide like
On the
that.
lam.
He don't know where that house is.
He's at the safe house.
Danny, where did you catch that big lake trout in the poster? Lake Michigan. We were down rigging and caught it in Lake Michigan. If you go to the Real American Road Trip, season 2, episode 1, you will see me catch that fish and puke my brains out. So right there, Waypoint TV again. Season, and actually, hell, you missed it. We come on Tuesday nights at 9:30, but you can catch any of them. You can kind of Netflix and chill if you want and watch all the episodes and stuff like that.
We got the guy show coming on in a couple of weeks.
The what?
Isn't it us? Isn't it the guy crew?
Yeah, so yeah.
I think it's April Fool's.
Is it April Fool's Day? Yeah. So episode 12, you'll see all of us over at Gunnersville. And actually, if you want to see the chicken rig in action, that's what I was using. Because remember, I say chicken rig and all that stuff. So Farmer's on there, Tim's on there, Dave and Ken Pruitt and all of us, we had a good time. So anyway, seriously, come out to Cherry Street Brewery Thursday night, have a beer with us and just hang out. And we would really enjoy your company. Other than that, let me go ahead and tell you, there is no show Thursday night because we will be at Cherry Street. So if you really want to get your fix in on the live well crew and all that, or at least me, I don't know how many of the guys are going to be able to come.
I'm come out.
Huh?
I'm gonna come out.
You gonna come out?
Yeah, I'll come straight from work.
Will you be signing autographs?
Yeah, I'll be kissing
You can
babies
do that.
and
You can
signing
be
autographs.
you can wear all your apparel and tell everybody. Alex 10 at checkout right there. So
I'll bring some brigade blades to show everybody.
There you go.
Jason Jones, I just watched my first episode like 4 nights ago. Production quality was amazing.
Yep.
You can see all of season 1 is dropping on Fish North Georgia. We're doing an episode here and episode there. But all right, Jason Jones will be at Cherry Street. Come see us. Come see us. We'll have a good time. For the rest of you, again, since we won't see you Thursday night, if you're on the water this weekend, hey, listen, be safe, have a good time, catch some fish, come back the following Tuesday night, and you can kind of help us report a little bit on the show. I'll have Colin Steele on, and he is a fishery biologist. And so, hey, we'll bring some questions for that. That'll be an interesting show. So you guys be good, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.